Tonight, the Bills begin their preseason with postseason expectations. New head coach Rex Ryan has brought in a slew of offensive upgrades, highlighted by LeSean McCoy. Combined with an already dominant D, this franchise expects to be playing into the Buffalo winter. That quest begins next at the Ralph.
I expect to win. I expect to win big.
I'm not going to let our fans down. I am not going to do that. My message to our team, get ready.
The wait is over and football is back in Western New York. Tonight, Ralph Wilson Stadium hosts the preseason opener for both the Carolina Panthers and your Buffalo Bills. Last year, the Buffalo offense struggled in just about every category. In the offseason, management upgraded that offense across the board. Castle, Clay, Felton, Harvin, Incognito, McCoy. Don't be surprised if all 6 of those new faces start the September 13 opener versus the Indianapolis Colts. Glad you're with us this Friday evening. Rob Stone, number 89, Steve Tasker here with you. Optimism as high as it's been here in the Buffalo area since probably your days with the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time where the expectations really are Super Bowl, and they really are confident in their ability to get there. They know that a lot of things have to happen here in this town, but this emergence of this head coach, this coaching staff, and the talent, particularly defensively, the expectations are through the roof. They broke records in season's ticket sales, and that really tells you all you need to know.
We saw the new faces, probably the biggest new face, roaming the sideline, the skydiving, milk bone eating, Buffalo embracing Rex Ryan. He has already brought what to this franchise?
Well, expectations, no question. He's a well-respected head coach. In fact, people respected him so much as the Jet head coach. A lot of people weren't that happy that they had to start liking the guy, but he has embraced this fan base. It's hard to imagine any head coach who's had a more lovely honeymoon period than Rex Ryan. The town has embraced Rex, and Rex has hugged him right back. It's been a lot of fun to be here in Western New York and watch him take this city by storm.
Rex has said and made it clear this is going to be a ground and pound type offense, and he feels they have the ideal back to handle that. 3-time Pro Bowler LeSean McCoy.
Yeah, and it's been winding up the entire offseason with the questions at quarterback. LeSean McCoy becomes an enormous part of this offense. I think this is one guy that a lot of Buffalo Bill fans in Western New York did not know about, but during his time in Philly, I've seen him play up close and personal. When he's in tight spots right there, he'll make people miss, and this is exactly the kind of guy that Rex Ryan wants to hand it off and run play action off of.
But somebody is going to have to hand it off to McCoy. That is the big offseason question. Who is going to be that quarterback? 4 faces, 3 of them brand new to the franchise. For more on that, we go downstairs and join Mike Catalana. Mike?
Yeah, Rob, Rex made it clear that it's an open competition for quarterback, but it seems at this moment that a veteran, Matt Castle, has taken that first step to try to win the job. He will start tonight, and Bills fans know Matt Castle. They know him from back when he played with the New England Patriots, when he replaced an injured Tom Brady, and he won 10 games for that franchise. Then he won to Kansas City, and he started for the Chiefs, and he won 10 games there too and made it to a Pro Bowl. And he's been a starter over the past 2 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. Matt Castle will get the first chance tonight during this period to see if he can be the starter, but the guys behind him are pushing him. Tyrod Taylor will be the second quarterback on the field tonight. He's a guy for the last 4 years, has been with Baltimore, and Bills fans certainly know E.J. Manuel, and they're hoping he takes a step forward during the preseason. But it's Castle who gets the start tonight. We'll see how he does. Rob?
Well, Mike, whoever's throwing the ball, they'll have plenty of options out wide. A healthy Sammy Watkins and Robert Woods. They tape to the field coming up. Bills preseason, it kicks off next after this local break.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Snapple, made from the best stuff on earth. By ECMC, the difference between true care and health care. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We welcome you back to Buffalo, New York. Huge crowd here on hand once again at Ralph Wilson Stadium. as we get set for the preseason opener for both the Carolina Panthers and the Buffalo Bills. Game number 1 in the red, white, and blue of the Buffalo Bills for that man, Rex Ryan. 19th year in the NFL, 7th year as a head coach, first with the Bills. Led the Jets to 2 AFC title games. On the flip side, Ron Rivera still in charge of the Carolina Panthers, saying this week he's excited to see the young guys and some of the new faces he's brought in.
It's interesting, Ron Rivera has known Rex Ryan for a long, long time when he played for Rex Ryan's father, Buddy Ryan, of course, on that great '85 Bears team, where Rex was a kid running around, and they had been friends for, well, decades.
Graham Gano to kick it off to Marcus Thigpen, who's back deep for Buffalo. Expectations for this franchise haven't been this high in years. Coming off their best record since 2004, the Bills concluded at 9-7. The goal, it's been clear, get to the postseason. Carolina and Buffalo ready to kick this one off, and as the late great Van Miller used to say, fasten your seatbelts. Bills football is underway. And here comes Matt Castle out to take the opening snaps. We expect, Steve, to see him maybe for all of the first quarter. What are you looking for him tonight?
Well, what you really want to see from this Bills offense is the ability to run the football when they want to run it. Now, Matt Castle has been one of the most accomplished play-action passers in the game in the last few years. The Bills want to lean on that if they can, but if you're going to do that, of course, you got to run the football first.
And then Sean McCoy is the tailback behind him. Man in motion is Woods, and they feed McCoy. McCoy will pick up maybe 2 on first down. Take a look at the Tim Hortons Buffalo Bills starting offense, and the big guys up front. Eric Wood is back. A couple of new faces there as well. John Miller, the rookie from Louisville, getting to start at right guard. Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, your starting wideouts. Clay, the new acquisition from Miami. Jerome Felton is a big pickup at that fullback spot. Second and 8, Castle to the air for the first time, complete to Woods. Kenny Ladler with the tackle. Take a look at the Carolina starting defense, brought to you by Units. Ely Cole, Short, Alexander up front. They are strong in the middle of the linebacker spot. Luke Kuechly, an absolute tackling phenom from Boston College. And the 4 back, the new face, Charles Tillman, with Carolina after 12 seasons in Chicago. 3rd and 2 for Castle and company, and he'll be in the shotgun. McCoy to his left. Castle finds Watkins. First down, Buffalo. Tillman with the tackle.
Yeah, thus far, not very complicated route combinations. Sammy Watkins just going to come out, get up the field. He forces Tillman to turn his hips and then snaps it off. Castle throws that right on the money, down low and away. All they needed was the completion. Weren't looking for the catch and run.
Rex and offensive coordinator Greg Roman have made it fairly clear. We're going to see a vanilla-based offense. No sprinkles, no whipped cream for this one.
And a plain sugar cone. Yeah, no, nothing.
If you're lucky. First flag of the game.
And that's going to be on Sammy Watkins at the top of your screen.
Yeah, false start. Offense, number 14, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Watkins, the second-year pro from Clemson. Expecting big things from him, bigger things from him this
Well,
year.
and rightfully so. He has an opportunity to break a franchise record for the first 2 years of his career, a record held by Robert Wood, his Robert Woods, his teammate. The most catches in the first 2 years of his career. Robert Woods doing that, tying Jerry Butler for that. So Sammy Watkins off to a great start, obviously.
On 1st and 15, McCoy, the reception, spins away from a couple tacklers, crosses the 35 down at the 37. pickup of 8 on first down.
Well, there's a glimpse of why LaShawn McCoy raised some eyebrows when he was the focus of the trade for Kiko Alonso. Right there, makes a couple of guys miss, and of course, finally gets run down from behind as the traffic comes and gets him. But that, Wes Horton coming back from his defensive end spot to tackle him. But LaShawn McCoy is so elusive, even in tight spots. He turned a 3-yard gain into that 8-yard gain.
Castle has been flawless early on. And Castle, another short strike and drop. That one slightly behind number 15, Chris Hogan, the third-year man for Monmouth.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing Chris Hogan cannot do. This ball's got to be caught. The margin of error for this offense is going to be very thin. And they're going to have to make catches when they can, get first downs when they can, manufacture yardage, manufacture first downs. They've got to do as much as they can to keep the opposing offense off the field and help their defense. That's the kind of thing that really hurts a player and his chances to make a team.
3rd and 6, 3 wideouts, 2 to the right of Castle, and a quick strike across the middle. This one will be well short, though. Another completion. Woods with the reception, his second already, but the punt team comes on now for Buffalo.
Yeah, and this is a young guy in Woods early in the season trying to make something happen that's not there. If he'd taken it and dipped his shoulder, he might have gotten a little closer to the first down. I'm not saying he would have got it, but he tried to make a big play coming all the way across the formation after he caught the football, and the pursuit was just too fast.
Colton Schmidt out to punt it. Ted Ginn Jr. back with Carolina and bat deep at about his 10. Ginn will field it at the 16. Across the 20 and forced out of bounds at about the 23. 43-yard punt, 7-yard return from the former Buckeye. Carolina on offense when we return after this network timeout.
Mike Catalano back live with you in Orchard Park. No score in the first quarter between the Bills and the Panthers. Let's check out the ECMC keys to the game. Rex Ryan talking to us about what he wants to see. He wants execution. All 3 phases of the game. He wants to stay healthy, but he says we're going to play physical. And this is what we'll see now. Adjust to the game. Defensive communication. They're not game planning. He wants to see his guys make plays on the move.
All right, Mike, thank you. So Carolina out for their first offensive possession, 1st and 10 from the 24. Cam Newton, the quarterback for the Panthers. Quick handoff, and maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Marcel Darius first on the scene with the tackle. There's Newton's numbers from last season. 2-time Pro Bowler, former Heisman Trophy winner with Auburn. It is clearly his team. We'll give him 1, 2nd and 9 for the Panthers. His intended target slipped, so incomplete. Looking for Kelvin Benjamin. We take a look at our Panthers starting offense, brought to you by Units, a new man there, or over left tackle, one of the best centers in the game in Khalil. Benjamin, what a season he had last year. He is their #1 wideout option. Tolbert and Stewart, the 2 main men in the backfield. Just like that, it's 3rd and 9. Let's see how much pressure the Bills D brings. They're showing it and back off. Newton flush to his left. Looking for an option and just throws it away. Well, this is O'Brien with the pressure.
Well, this is exactly what Buffalo Bills fans expect. It's what Rex Ryan and his staff expect as well. They want a lot of 3rd and long, which gives them a chance to bring some pressure off the edge. Cam Newton held in the pocket for as long as he can, and that was actually something that he worked on, and he's much better today than he was when he was started out in the NFL. Cam Newton does hang in the pocket a lot longer than he once did, and on that play, it was a nice poised play and an easy throwaway. Still a win for the defense.
Big Pin back to return this punt. He's standing at his 25. Low snap, handled well. There will be a return on this one. Big Pin from the 24. Finds a seam. Across the 40. Tackled by Mario Addison, 51-yard punt, 18-yard return. The Buffalo offense comes out for the second time after this network timeout. Rob Stone, Steve Tasker, Mike Catalana back here with you. 0-0 in the first quarter. Buffalo offense back out. Matt Castle still in charge for now. And the opening drive, Castle pretty effective, 4 of 5 for 25 yards. That one incompletion, a drop ball.
And that was a drop, yeah. And they looked very efficient. Of course, they didn't try to throw any ball over 10 yards down the field. And they actually got caught by the illegal procedure penalty, which would have led to the play would have led to a first down, but it ended up being a third down short of the first down.
Give to McCoy, gets out wide left and approaches midfield. Solid pickup on first down. Kevin Reddick with the tackle.
Sean McCoy, see they're making one guy miss at the end of the line of scrimmage, and some running plays almost call for that. They leave one guy away from the play. This time they left the guy up out the front. They can't block everybody, but if they leave the right guy free, he can't get across the formation to make the play. In that case, they had a guy right at the point of attack, where Sean McCoy stepped around him like he was a tree stump.
McCoy just 208 yards shy of 7,000 for his career. They feed him one more time. Not as effective on second down. Klein with the tackle.
Yeah, on that play, Felton kind of ran right past the linebacker, Klein, who made that play, trying to sort through the guys you're supposed to block. That's one of the things. Not only do you block somebody, you block the right guy. Felton ran right by the linebacker who actually made the tackle. They had a chance for a good play, and it turned into a loss.
3rd and 6 for Castle. Has 4 wideouts, including the tight end, Sammy Watkins, at the bottom of your screen. Castle, complete. First down to the new tight end, Charles Clay. And Clay shrugs off a couple tacklers. Inside the 40, first down, Bills. Pickup of 17 yards on third down. Things you love to see from your quarterback.
They had plenty of time. Watch the protection, particularly here on the front side of the play. As Castle steps up, they go man-to-man. Miller, the rookie, pushes the defensive tackle all the way away, makes a great throwing lane. Castle steps up in. Clay comes open. Great play by the offense. It started with the protection up front. Castle saw the entire field open up before him, and Clay was wide open.
Castle 5 of 6 for 40 yards early on. Watkins in motion. They feed it to Shady. He goes to the right. Shady breaks one tackle, almost to the 30. Kurt Coleman there, up from the safety position to bring down Shady.
Yeah, and you watch John Miller, the rookie guard out of Louisville. Watch, he's gonna be right here. Watch him come out and get out in front of McCoy, along with Felton. That's what you like to see a young guy do. Gets Klein, and that's really all he had to do. He just stopped Klein from pursuing. He gets around the block of Felton and then just catches Klein and pushes him back towards the line of scrimmage. That's all it takes, but it takes a lot for a 300-pound guy to get out front.
McCoy takes a blow. Rookie Carlos Williams is in, and he gets the ball, and looks like he'll get a first down as well. Expect a healthy dose of number 40 tonight. A couple running back injuries. The old man, Fred Jackson, out with a hamstring. Boobie Dixon out for an extended time with a calf injury. We'll see a little LaShawn, which we've seen already, but Coach told us yesterday he really likes Carlos Williams, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities to shine tonight. Coming up, 6th play of the drive for the Bills.
Carlos Williams, a 5th-round draft pick this year, and he's kind of moved up the depth chart throughout camp, so he has been impressive, at least impressive enough to change where he began.
Castle looking left. Another short completion. Watkins! Flag is thrown late. He's pushed out of bounds close to the 12. Tillman was there to get him out of bounds. Let's see what the flag is after the pickup of 15.
Yeah, this is going to be against Buffalo. Looks like illegal contact down the field, or pass interference.
Pass interference. Offense, number 49, blocking downfield. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Yeah, that's Matt Mulligan, the tight end, who Rex Ryan said is the strongest guy in the league right here. Yeah, he was trying that. He was engaged with the man. It looks to me like that was illegal contact, not offensive pass interference. Mulligan was trying to get away, turn around to catch a button hook and hit the linebacker. I don't agree with that call.
Second penalty game on the Buffalo offense. That pushes them way back. 1st and 20. Castle gives it. Williams up the middle. Bullies his way across the 30 to about the 29. Carlos Williams, what a talent he was in Tallahassee.
Yeah, and he caught this ball out of the backfield from Jameis Winston. You see there, he can obviously catch it now up through the middle, right there against Dorgan, right up between the hash marks. Obviously a great athlete, and as you see here in his highlights, very adept at catching the football. You got to do that in the NFL these days. LaShawn McCoy, and of course that guy right there, Williams, showing that he can do that as well.
Williams actually began his career at Florida State as a safety. Moved to running back his junior year. Castle looking left, another short completion. And he finds Mulligan. One of many guys in a very crowded tight end battle right now.
They only have about 5,000 tight ends on their roster. I mean, they really do. And they all have certain attributes. You know, they even have a draft pick in there with Nick O'Leary, the rookie also out of Florida State. He was a 6th-round draft pick. All these guys are going to get looked at. Of course, Charles Clay is the elite guy, the one they really want to get after, and he's going to be on the field a ton during this season. You can see Buffalo Bill fans are going to get to know him, but the rest of those guys all have attributes that the Bills coaching staff are trying to utilize.
3rd and 7. Castle, McCoy, flat, helmet ripped off. McCoy carries on.
How can that not be a penalty?
Rex Ryan may see something like that and say, you know what, LaShawn, your day's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a seat. I don't need a...
Go climb into that bubble wrap crate that we have sitting for you on the sideline. That's... How does a guy take a guy's helmet off and have that not be a penalty? Because you can't. I think Rex is trying the same thing.
Defense, number 97. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. An automatic first down.
Oh, big penalty right there. Keeps the drive alive for the Bills.
Yeah, Mario Addison
with the penalty. Tillman with the beheading, if you will, of McCoy. McCoy stays out there. So 1st and 10 now for the Bills inside the 20. Some confusion with what Clay's role was on that play, you get the sense.
Offense, number 49. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Yeah, you got to put that on Mulligan. Matt Castle switched Charles Clay, brought him in motion, and then shifted him after he put him in motion, which means after he stopped, then he moved to another place for the snap to count. And when Castle began the cadence again, Mulligan wasn't listening.
Clay in motion and stops. McCoy up the middle. Picks his way from maybe 3.
Castle's been productive thus far in the game. He's only going to play probably around the first quarter, but he's been effective and efficient in his passing. It seems like he's getting them in and out of the huddle, which sounds like not a big deal, but believe me, when you're in a new offense with new players, the 9th play of the drive, it looks pretty good here for this number 1 offense in the early going. They took themselves off the field in the first drive, and now they continue to drive here their second possession.
2 tight ends out there right now. They fake the give, roll to the right, complete. Mulligan. Gain of maybe 1 before Roman Harper dragged him down. Castle still just 1 incompletion tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting that Rex Ryan told us Matt Mulligan's the strongest tight end in the NFL. On that play, he was not the fastest tight end in the NFL.
Strong and fast usually don't always go together.
It'd be nice if they did, but they rarely do for some reason.
Buffalo 2 for 3 on their 3rd down opportunities early on. McCoy stays out there. 3rd and 12 for Castle. McCoy, a full flip there, avoiding the tackle from Norman. And the kicking team will come on, and it will be Jordan Gay, not Dan Carpenter. So Dan Carpenter has the night off. Jordan Gay, or the kickoff specialist, he'll get some bonus times to swing the leg tonight. To be a 37-yard field goal attempt. And no good. Partially blocked. Way off target. 0-0. We're back after this local break.
We come back here for the second possession for the Carolina Panthers. The first possession went exactly as planned for the Buffalo Bills defense. One stuffed run up the middle, a bad pass for an incompletion, and then good coverage down the football field and good pursuit by the front seven for a throwaway. And you couple that with the time of possession here in the first quarter, and this is the exact blueprint that the Buffalo Bills want to have throughout their season.
Talk about time of possession. Carolina hasn't even had it for a minute yet. Newton airs it up, going deep, down the middle, has a man and overthrew it. Almost hooking up with Corey Brown. Manny Lawson with the pressure there on Cam.
Yeah, that was now the Carolina Panthers are going to go no huddle as the Bills are trying to get back and lined up defensively. And this is the kind of thing I think a lot of teams do more of, really not so much because they have an edge, but because they want to take a defense after going deep, come back and make them run again.
There's the first down of the evening for Carolina. Kelvin Benjamin, the second-year player from Florida State, with the grab and the pickup of 14. Take a look at our Tim Hortons Buffalo Bills starting defense. They are solid up front. Your linebackers, Lawson Brown, Radham. And we'll be talking about the DBs, the corners, and the safeties as the night progresses. Cam Newton now 1 of 4 for 15 yards. Pressure from the right side. Might have been some defensive play from the wideout there. Benjamin having to break that one up.
And that was a great defensive play by Buffalo. Stephon Gilmore on the coverage, and that was a play where Cam Newton has to get rid of it because of the pressure by Lawson off the outside, and Gilmore knows the pass rush is coming, so he jumps the route and almost turned into a play going the other way.
On 2nd and 10, Carolina goes to the ground. Buffalo punches it out wide, smothers it. Flag on the play. Fozzie Whitaker taken down.
Aaron Williams. And they'll decline. The Bills are going to decline this holding penalty with a no gain. They'll go 2nd and 10. But watch Aaron Williams come from all the way in the secondary and cover that ground. The back, Whitaker, breaks to the outside. It looked like they were going to have a play right there, and out of nowhere, Williams covers that ground and makes the tackle. One of the spots, the defensive backs are always important in a defense, but Rex's defense has always been about cornerbacks. But when we spoke to him yesterday, he couldn't talk enough about the safeties the Bills have on this roster, and right there, Williams comes through for him.
Newton, down the middle, almost intercepted. There's Williams again. A Longhorn in the vicinity of that one. And the Buffalo D giving Cam and Carolina very little opportunity to have some success tonight. Again, Thigpen back. He's at about his 10 to receive this punt. Short punt, Thigpen races up, fields it at the 16, avoids one tackle, going to his left, still on his feet, crosses the 30, holds on to the ball, dragged down right about at the 35. 43-yard punt, 18-yard return. The Buffalo offense back out after this local timeout. Matt Castle, he gives way now to the fifth-year pro from Virginia Tech, Tyrod Taylor, who's been awfully impressive in camp thus far. He's known for those fleet feet, but he get an arm to complement it. He can be dangerous. Gives it to Williams, and Williams a big pickup. Almost a first down on first. In fact, they will give him 10. First down, Buffalo.
In the first couple of series, Matt Castle came out of the gates, didn't try anything really down the football field, but was very efficient. He ended up being 7 for 8 for 45 yards. There's not much wrong with those numbers on a team that wants to run the football and play good defense and not turn it over. The kind of couple of series that's going to help this team win in the time of possession battle, win on the scoreboard, hopefully for them, and keep that defense fresh.
Carlos Williams already 3 carries for 23 yards. A little play action. Tyrod rolls to his right. Still on his feet. That's the type of attack he brings when he's under center or taking shotgun.
Well, even on the first play from scrimmage, when he went back to hand the football off, he gets there so fast. Watch as he turns the corner, and you can tell there, Ely is trying to catch up with him. He's got no shot, and even with just a simple run out of bounds, it's a first down for the Buffalo Bills off a busted bootleg. 2 plays and they're already in Carolina territory. This most likely will be the end of the first quarter. Not only most likely, I can guarantee it will be the end of the first quarter. Now they've got it and they stop the clock with 3 seconds on. No, now they got it. They took it off.
Little sly grin there from the first-year head coach here in Buffalo, Rex Ryan. Plenty more from that man, Tyrod Taylor, when we're back after this network break. 0-0 here in Buffalo as we get set for the second quarter. And we remind you to join us at the Ralph, Saturday, August 29th. Kids Day presented by Independent Health. Special giveaways, interactive games, prizes, certainly a lot more than that. Tickets starting at $25. Visit buffalobills.com or you can call 1-877-BB-TIX. Taylor looking deep down the left. Almost pulled in. Difficult catch over the shoulder. Teddy Williams there in coverage. A tough one for Marquise Goodwin to try and pull in. Well, he did come open late. Tyrod Taylor got this ball out, and there was going to be a little pressure, but the ball came out so fast, and that's when it has to come out on this deep route. A lot of people think you wait for a while before the deep ball, but a lot of quarterbacks, the best ones, throw it early and let the receiver adjust. Goodwin has got to do a better job getting his eyes up and coming down with that football. That was a very catchable football on a route when he got himself some separation. Taylor, he'll keep it himself, finds the seam, has the first down, crosses the 30, and then a late flag. A little bit more on Tyrod Taylor. We go downstairs. Mike Catalano. Mike?
Yeah, guys, Tyrod Taylor at camp has shown flashes of this. He has the ability to get outside, make plays, and in this case, add a penalty. We talked to him about his role with the Ravens. Even though he was a backup for 4 years, he got an opportunity to learn about being a pro from Joe Flacco, and I asked him about the talent level of that Super Bowl franchise. He said he sees a lot of that same talent here with the Bills. He's just thrilled to be part of this franchise.
Yeah, one of the other things about Tyrod Taylor that happened very early when he came to Buffalo, when they got in the OTAs, he raised some coaches' eyebrows about his demeanor, his leadership, and the way guys like to rally around him. He's got a real presence that they liked early on when they first signed him. Taylor under center, gives it to Williams. Williams met in the backfield, shrugs it off, and able to kind of stumble forward for a little bit. A personal foul penalty on that last play, which has the Bills deep inside the red zone again. Remember last time they were there, they had a field goal go awry. That's why we're still at zeros. One of the things, excuse me, Rob. One of the things about early in the preseason, one, defenses are usually ahead of the offenses, and packages like red zone offenses usually really struggle. It's hard for these teams early in the preseason to punch it in. Taylor, pump, pulled down from behind, and another flag comes out.
That'll be on A.J. Klein, the third-year pro out of Iowa State.
Yeah, he knows it too. He's trying to talk him out of it, but that is an absolute no-brainer. It's a horse collar tackle. You can't put your hand inside the jersey opening. You'll see him. He's right up here. He's going to end up making the tackle on Taylor as this play comes through. He drops back, catches the crossing route, then leaves it, and right there, he's got the jersey. That amount. Now, he didn't put his hand inside, but pulling the quarterback down and throwing yourselves on the back of his legs is a textbook horse collar.
The give. Williams! Is he in?
And the far side is not going to give it to him. The guy on the near side isn't either.
Just shy is Carlos Williams. Blanton with the tackle. So second and goal for Buffalo.
Yeah, nobody's belly aching too much, so it looks like even Williams doesn't think he really actually got in. I always look at the player's body languages. If a guy coughs the football up and doesn't go after it, it's because he doesn't believe he fumbled. If he doesn't make a stink when he didn't get in the end zone, it's because he probably didn't.
Felton, the fullback, 8th play of the drive. Williams leaps up, touchdown, Buffalo.
Well, there was no doubt when Williams got the football, he's going to go high. He goes in and gets well high up above the line of scrimmage and gets the ball across right there. Gets it to the far side of that white line, and the pushback and what happens after that doesn't matter. That was a good touchdown by the Bills, and they did get a chance to take advantage and punched it in.
Jordan Gay back out looking for the extended extra point. Some confusion on the line. And man finally hustling in is Tyson Chandler. This one much better than the field goal attempt in the first. 7-0 Buffalo. 8 plays, 65 yards in just over 3 minutes. Rex? Yeah. That's how you celebrate a touchdown. We're back after this local break. First pro touchdown for Carlos Williams, the 6'1" rookie from Florida State, a 5th round pick, has got a big opportunity to shine tonight, and he's already put 6 on the board. There's your Bills scoring drive, 8 plays, 65 yards in just over 3 minutes. Time of possession has been absolutely dominated by Buffalo tonight. 14:46 compared to 2:20 for Carolina.
Well, that's the recipe for the Buffalo Bills this season. It really is. And it's very early, but it's been rare that a plan has come together so quickly in Buffalo over the last 15 years. But Rex Ryan is playing this game right to script.
Jordan Gay sends this one deep. This might be a field goal. That's why he's still on this team. Carolina comes back on offense. The Bills' D has been dominant. We're back after this network break. Sean McCoy with the lid on. His compatriot in the backfield, Carlos Williams, with the 1-yard plunge. And then Buffalo tacked on the extra point. New extra point rules this season.
And there you see it. It's the extra point. The kick is going to be moved back to the 15-yard line, and the ball could be placed on the 2-yard line if a team is going to go for 2 points. Now also, brand new, the defense can score on an extra point. They can get 2 points back. And of course, if you go for a 2-point, or if the defense is penalized on your extra point attempt, you can take the penalty yardage and retry the down, either going for 2 or kicking it once again. So all of that stuff is in play now. I think the big thing really is now that the defense could actually get points if the play goes badly for the offense. And that's an enormous effect. If you get down to a game where you take the lead by 1, you may have a team go for 2 and then just kneel on the ball and not risk messing it up in case the defense could get it and go score and win the game on an extra point.
How about Cam Newton still out there for Carolina deep into the second quarter? A lot deeper than I think a lot of folks figured. Newton from the shotgun, looking to his left, locks one up. Excellent coverage and in and out of the hands of Benjamin, and then comes a flurry of flags.
Stephon Gilmore tied up with Benjamin. Yeah, Gilmore did not get his head around. And I'll tell you what, and me being up here in the booth, it's easy for me to say this now, but well, he's right here. Now this is where he did try to get it around, just didn't get around in time. You expect your teammates on your sideline to give you a ball call. They got to tell you the ball's in the air. Now they might have done that, but Gilmore was very late getting his head around.
Well, Gilmore better get used to being matched up one-on-one with the opposition's top receiver this season. It's the way Rex likes to play, and it will be Gilmore Island this season. Mike Tolbert lining up behind Newton. Newton again going, this time down the middle, and Benjamin drilled, but holds on. Corey Graham laying him out.
That's a flag. Yeah, you can't do that. Benjamin can't do that, no matter how much it hurt.
Pickup of 20, and then the flags.
Yeah, Benjamin flipped the football right at the safety, Graham, when he got up. Our referee official's mic's not working. That's unsportsmanlike on number 13 of the offense, and that ball will come back. Now they'll get the play, they'll get the first down, but you'll see here Gilmore on the crossing route. He's got safety help inside, and here it comes. And Graham, you know, that doesn't feel good. And this right here, that's a penalty.
I think I needed an adjustment just after watching that hit.
Man, I can feel that too, man. That makes every injury I ever got reverberate up here in the booth. Oh my gosh. I am so glad I'm retired.
So Cam changing things at the line of scrimmage. Newton again going deep, down the right side, complete, and inbounds. Really nice grab from Ted Ginn. Ginn back in Carolina after 1 year out in the desert with Arizona.
Well, he's working against the rookie, Ron Darby. Big, hard inside move by Ginn, and Darby gets his head around, and that's a great catch by Ginn right along the sidelines.
Pick up a 38, the handoff to Whitaker. Picks his way up for a couple on first down.
You'll see this. We'll see if he gets both feet in. There's one. Yeah, he got that second one in. His right foot was on the ground when the ball hit his breadbasket, and then the left foot came down. I thought for a minute from the other angle it might have been an out-of-bounds catch, but that was a good grab.
First time the Bills' D has really been tested tonight.
Well, the number one defensive line came off the field, and this is the number two defense on the field except for the secondary.
Whitaker again. Whitaker wrapped up by Jerry Hughes. 6-year man from TCU, 10 sacks last season for Hughes.
Now the number ones are back in there in the red zone, and I thought for a minute they did have the second linebacking core in there and the second defensive line unit in, but no go. That is the number ones out there.
Our first and 10 technology presented by Toyota. Let's go places. 3rd and 5. Carolina 0 for 2 on 3rd down tonight. Newton looks right, goes left, has a man. And the old wily veteran, Greg Olsen, with the reception inside the 5.
Yeah, this is a blitz that the Bills bring right up the middle. Newton sees it, stands in there with Graham coming right down his grill, and this is why Cam Newton has gotten better and better. The willingness to do that right there. Find the open guy, deliver it, and get the first down. That's what Cam Newton could not do as a young quarterback. That's what E.J. Manuel, another young quarterback, struggle with. The ability to stand in the face of a blitz, know you're going to get hit, find the open guy and put it there on target. Cam Newton has gotten so much better in his years in Carolina, and it's a real testament to not only his ability, which we all knew about, but his commitment to getting better.
Timeout on the field. Carolina called it. They have a first and goal situation for about the 2.5. We'll see what Cam and company come up with after this local break. Bills still holding on to a shutout, but it's been an impressive drive by the Panthers. 6 plays, 78 yards in just over 3.5 minutes. And they are now nestled awfully close to that end zone. First and goal for Cam Newton and the Panthers. Newton, separation, completion, touchdown, Carolina.
Yeah, they went right after the rookie, Ron Darby. They put the #1 receiver on him and let Cam Newton just throw it up for grabs. And that's what Rex Ryan really wanted to see. He wanted to see a young guy going against one of the best receivers, particularly in the NFC South, in Benjamin. Young, great receiver, tough matchup because Benjamin is so big. And Darby's got to hold up. That's what he's going to have to learn to defend. That right there, as hard as it looks like it is, and it is, that's what Rex Ryan expects of his cornerbacks. That was a tough matchup and great execution by Cam Newton and Kelvin Benjamin.
Former Seminole, Graham Gano on for the extra point. And extra points pushed back this year, so he'll strike this at about the 23, making this a 33-yard extra point. And it's good, and we're tied at 7. 7 plays, 80 yards in 3 minutes, 39 seconds. 2-yard touchdown strike. Newton to Benjamin. We're tied at 7. More after this local break. Cam Newton to Kelvin Benjamin, leveling things up at 7s here in the second quarter. Marcus Thigpen, the 4th-year Indiana Hoosier, back as he has been all evening long to return the kicks.
Now this is one time when the Bills might get a chance to return this kick. The prevailing wind always in the stadium here, Ralph Wilson Stadium, and your screen goes from left to right. And it's always a bigger possibility to get a kickoff return kicking into this wind going this direction. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But that's one when you've been in this stadium a number of times, you got to be ready for it.
Drills it, lost it. Thigpen mulling. He'll bring it out. Cuts to his left, and then wrapped up at about the 16. Flags come flying in.
And this is going to be a pretty costly penalty.
During the return, holding. Number 10 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So that's on Robert Woods. Let's go downstairs. Mike Catalano with the Geico spotlight on rookie John Miller.
Yeah, we're going to put it on the offensive lineman who is staying in the game right now. He's the guy from Louisville who has looked good so far. The Bills loved him in the draft. They penciled him in as a starter to begin the year, and he's shown them everything they want to see. Big fella that can move, looks for people to make contact with. John Miller holding his own in the first quarter tonight. So we said he's still out there on the field. He'll get plenty of snaps tonight.
Miller, a 3-year starter at Louisville, the 81st overall pick in the draft. Tyrod Taylor, backed up deep, under center. Short gain on first down. Mayo and Thompson with the tackle of Williams.
One of the problems the Buffalo Bills had last year was not only with the offensive line, but also depth in the offensive line. Of course, they were going to try and fix that in the draft. They took a shot at John Miller. They did like him. You see there, 6'2", 303. That's perfect size for a guard in the NFL if the guy can run. We've already seen early in this game he can get to the outside and lead those end runs.
Taylor under center. His second pass attempt is complete, and it's enough for a first down, and maybe more. Some blocking downfield, and a huge pickup to the 40. An electric run from Goodwin after the catch, a gain of 28 yards.
Great job as he catches this. Tyrod Taylor steps up, one look, and bang, the ball is out of there. It's a great executed pass by Tyrod Taylor. And Goodwin, of course, when he gets the football in his hands, he can scoot. One of the reasons the Buffalo Bills signed him. That's why he's a punt returner, kick return as well. The guy's got wheels, and when he turns the corner, he can go.
That's why he's also an Olympian. Ran track collegiately at Texas. Back to the ground. Williams with another carry, maybe about 3 on first down.
Oh, there's a 3 yards in a cloud of rubber dust for you right there. That is an ultra vanilla play right. You know.
Don't want to give away too much.
Right.
Early.
That is turn around, hand it to him. Everybody run forward, and we'll push them as they put. I mean, that was caveman football right there for 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
So you're saying not a lot of creativity on that
that
call?
was.
I could read between the lines.
Yeah, even those with one eyebrow could have figured that one out.
Another handoff, another run from Williams. David Mayo with the tackle there, the rookie from Texas State.
This was a little bit better. You watch. I mean, this had a little bit of intricacies from it, letting the offensive line work. Watch inside as they come around and move up inside to try and get this done. Cyril Richardson leading him around on the end run. Now that is not caveman football. That's the offensive line being asked to do a little something. And all of that goes into the pot, and they see who wins, and that's how guys get on the roster. Those interior offensive linemen have got to pick guys out to block, get out in front of those running backs. It's all a bunch of big dancing bears down inside there.
Deontay Thompson on the field now. Top of your screen at the wide out. Taylor avoids the rush. Oh, those feet are so dangerous, and the arm connects to Williams.
Oh, he absolutely made this play.
Gain of 15.
Dead to rights on his backside right there, and he just makes the guy whiff. That's Mario Addison, who had him dead to rights on the blind side. Tyrod Taylor feels it and makes a big play out of it. That is a game changer right there.
Bryce Brown checking in the backfield now, a fourth-year player from Kansas State, giving Carlos Williams a blow, and little play action. Taylor rolling to his right. Tucks it and slides.
Well, that you can tell right away how things change when Tyrod Taylor is in the game. You see there, he's got a nice little rip on the backside of his sleeve there. His ability to run, and he can run, is a game changer, and it changes the whole face of your offense, and it gives you some extra things to do. The problem with that is, even though he's a running quarterback, he's still really valuable if he's the starter, and you don't want to expose him to too many collisions.
Rex says he is the fastest quarterback in the league. We'll end around. Goodwin. Covered pretty well by Carolina there. Blanton with the tackle, the man from Florida Atlantic, but there's Marquise Goodwin in that speed. He's used it in the track and field sense in the long jump category. Of course, you need a lot of speed with that. He was fourth this summer at the USA Track and Field Championships. Won the long jump silver in Toronto at the Pan Am Games this summer as well. 3rd and 5 coming up for Buffalo. Brown, the reception, and the first down.
That's well executed. Tyrod Taylor getting the football out of his hand. It's interesting, too. You can tell the almost a different complete philosophy that the offensive play callers and Greg Roman, offensive coordinators, using with Tyrod Taylor in the game at quarterback. Matt Castle, straight drop back, quick button hooks, a lot of play action, run game. Tyrod Taylor, they're giving him the football, and getting him outside contained, letting him look around the football field, and also using misdirection with Goodwin on the end around as well.
Nice pickup by Bryce Brown. Gain of 7 on first down. That'll bring up 2nd and 3. Brown, one of those guys certainly in the mix for a backup role behind McCoy. His big issue, holding on to the ball.
Yeah, and you see there Greg Roman with the play sheet in front of him, calling it, covering his face as he calls the play. He's the guy in charge of calling these offensive plays and using the weapons at his disposal. And you know they've got a different philosophy with Taylor in the game in this second quarter.
Taylor rolling to his left. Oh, a little dive and extension for the first down. He is fun to watch.
Yeah, he is, and that was this was a called naked bootleg. Naked meaning there's nobody else out there. It's him, and if the defense isn't fooled, he's naked. And at the end of this run, as you see, he outruns the pursuit from inside, but on the outside, Teddy Williams is there to get the hit on him, and this is why it's always dangerous to have a running quarterback. Sooner or later, you're going to take a few collisions like this.
Timeout on the field. As Buffalo gets set for their 8th play of the drive. Tyrod Taylor has been electric in relief of Matt Castle. Let's see what he has in store when we return after this network break.
7-7 here in Orchard Park. As you see there, it's interesting now late in the second quarter. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman has changed his philosophy, and this is a guy who knows how to use a running game in conjunction with a mobile quarterback. We saw it in the last few years with Colin Kaepernick in San Francisco, where they were in the Super Bowl against the Ravens, and of course here with Tyrod Taylor tonight in the second quarter in a preseason game.
Taylor lofting for the end zone. In and out. Now Taylor thought he had 6. So did Thompson.
Deontay Thompson going down the sideline, got a pretty good release, gets a little bit of him as Teddy Williams, and Thompson can't pull this football in. Tyrod Taylor, oh, he thought he had it. That was not a bad throw at all. He thought he had a chance. He did have a chance to complete it. Those are low percentage passes, but sometimes your guy can make a play.
Taylor 3 of 5 for 47 yards. Back to the ground go the Bills, and a huge pickup. Bryce Brown pulling his way inside the 5.
Well, this was well blocked up front, and it also caught Carolina asleep. Watch right here as he comes right up into the middle of this Carolina defense, and they just get spread out. And the safety, Marlowe, gets caught a little late coming to the party, and Bryce Brown gets all the way inside the 5. The safety has got to come up for Carolina, and the Bills caught him napping. Turned it into a big game.
Pickup of 16, 1st and goal. Back to Brown they go, and Brown is in for 6.
Right up the gut out of the shotgun. Great move to one side. He comes back around the block. Thrown there by Morrell of the Bills. Steps to the left, comes back to the right behind his right guard, and gets into the end zone.
Game makes it 14-7.
Tyrod Taylor has had 2 very impressive drives capped off, and it is interesting, and it brings up a philosophical point. Matt Castle is a stand in the pocket, throw the football, classic quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is not, but he brings so much to the table outside of that. Plus, with your offensive coordinator being experienced and willing to use a guy like that, the only real question in my mind is, can he stay healthy running the football a lot as a quarterback?
How about a 2-quarterback type system in the NFL? I see you struggling already.
It's hard because it's hard for a team to rally around one guy. It's hard to have a leader when you have 2 leaders. And it's also hard to practice and get 2 guys fully ready to play when usually it takes a full week to get one guy ready to play. You run the risk of getting two guys half ready to play. Brings up a great philosophical point, though, and a great debate that I'm sure is going to rage inside the Bills coaching meetings, because there's obviously going to be some reasons to have both these guys on the football field.
Remember, this drive started all the way back at their 10-yard line, just under 7 minutes. Took them 90 yards, 13 plays for their second lead of the night.
And their quarterback was the key guy in a lot of the first down gets.
And again, out of the end zone, courtesy of Jordan Gay. Stay connected with the Buffalo Bills 24/7 with the official Bills mobile app. Get breaking news and updates directly from the team. You can download it now for free over at buffalobills.com. Derek Anderson on now. Cam Newton's day done, 5 of 10, 83 yards, and that one touchdown pass on their last drive to Kelvin Benjamin. Anderson in his 11th year out of Oregon State. Immediately finds Cameron Artis-Payne, and Payne immediately finds the turf, courtesy of Powell.
Yeah, Ty Powell read this and got in there exactly the way he should have. And that's the kind of speed that you really have got to have. And these linebackers for Buffalo seem to have it. You go from the ones to the twos, and the one thing they do have in common is a lot of athletes at that spot, and they can run. And really, you use to think about it, most of all, it's going to be pass rushing. But when they kind of have to go sideline to sideline, you can see they can do that as well.
And one of the new faces in Buffalo on the field right now. We'll talk about that when we return. Buffalo up 14-7.
I.K. Anapoli, number 75, on the field for the Bills. Tuesday, the altercation with Geno Smith cut by the Jets. The Bills picked him up. Thursday, he apologized to the Jets, and he thanked the Bills for giving him a chance. Rex Ryan said he was going to put him right out there. The kid can rush the passer. He'll back up Jerry Hughes for now. We'll see how he does in his limited time tonight.
Mike, think, remember, he was an original draft pick of Rex Ryan back in New York, a 6th-round pick by the Jets last season. Anderson across the middle, broken up, a little hand slap over the top. Kari Rambo is there.
And there's one reason Anapoli is in the game is because Rex Ryan knows he can rush the passer. And this is a team that no matter what the situation is, they're trying to get better. You see they're coming off the edge, and that left tackle has his hands full. Anapoli tries to get around him. That's Nate Chandler trying to do his best. But this is also a guy who knows the defense. He played all of his rookie year a year ago in this defense, so Rex Ryan feels confident plugging him in and letting him know what he's doing and having confidence that he does know what he's doing.
3rd and 15, Carolina just 1 of 3 in their 3rd down conversions. Good time for Anderson, floats that one and incomplete. Punt team comes back on for Carolina. Duke Williams there in the coverage.
Well, Anapoli got lit up on a crack block right there as the ball was snapped. He got lit up by the same guy. Wow. Watch, he's going to come off the edge. Watch right here. Boom.
That was too easy.
Yeah, you got to be expecting that.
Robert Woods back at his 35 to field this punt. Chases forward, pulls it in at the 45 across midfield. 40-yard punt, 12-yard return. We go inside the numbers, courtesy of New York Lottery. 111 sacks in the last 2 seasons from this Buffalo Bill defense.
And there's 50 of them right there from the defensive line, and that's exactly the way it should be. That means that this defense can get pressure with only 4 guys. If you can do that, you are way, way ahead of the game defensively, because that means you can drop 4 guys into coverage. You still know the ball has to come out of there. And this is a group there's only been 10 teams in history, as you saw there at the bottom, that have had 50-plus sacks 3 seasons in a row.
Taylor remains in shotgun. quick little drop to his right. Hooks up with Bryce Brown, who had that 4-yard touchdown run last time the Bills were on offense. Blanton with the tackle.
And it's starting to become a little bit of a theme now. Mario Addison coming off that left side.
Buffalo having their way in the running game as well, outrushing the Panthers 120-3, but again, it's through the air to another completion. This time it's Chris Hogan, dragged down by the ankles. Blanton with another tackle.
This brings up really one of the few third down and longs for Buffalo. And this is where Tyrod Taylor, this is where the philosophy kind of takes its root. I mean, this is where a running quarterback on a third and long, he's going to have to sit back there and throw it. And we'll see if he can execute this type of play as well as he can the mobile quarterback type of play.
Taylor, he's going to do it with his feet if he can get there, and he won't.
And you see there, that's the reason. A defense will drop back and let the quarterback break contain, and if they can keep him covered up, it's a lot like the basic defensive philosophy of on third and long, you give him a short pass knowing that you can make the tackle short of the first down. On this, they hope Tyrod Taylor tries to get it so they can pursue and cut him off from the first down, and that's exactly what they did.
With just 34 seconds left on the clock, Buffalo right now showing all signs that they're going to go for it here on 4th and 3 from the 39. Taylor overthrew his intended target, looking for Thompson, so they'll turn it over on downs.
I don't know about that play. I kind of like getting your quarterback out of the pocket. You got a guy like Tyrod Taylor. That's exactly the short yardage plays are exactly the kind where Cam Newton makes his money. That's exactly where a guy like Tyrod Taylor is going to make his. Give him a chance to pump fake, throw the football, just a little short flick of the wrist for the completion, or to duck his shoulder and dive forward for a first down without getting a real big hit on him. To have him drop back and try a low percentage pass on a 4th down play, that's vanilla. That's safe and security, safe and conservative.
Carolina's really struggled offensively tonight. Just 3 rushing yards compared to the 125 from Buffalo. Jordan Todman the back right now, but it's Anderson through the shotgun. Dumps it off to Todman, and Todman races out of bounds. Stops the clock with 23 seconds left.
Good job by Todman getting out, knowing he got to conserve as much as you can. They're trying to get at least 3 out of this drive, and really they only have 20 more yards, and they'll be able to take a long shot at it.
That's a nice completion. Looked like a stumble there from Devin Funchess, their 2nd round pick from Michigan, but he was able to still corral it for the gain of 20 yards.
High hopes for Funchess. He's a big 6'4" target, 215. Rookie. It's a nice square. He did stumble a little bit, but he goes down after it. That was very nicely done.
Coverage from Mario Butler, the Georgia Tech player. Funchess, a 2-time All-Big Ten performer, left after his junior year in Ann Arbor. There's Butler, 39. Time with Dallas, Denver, and Buffalo. He's only dressed for 1 professional game. There's Butler. So 1st and 10 from the 40 for Carolina with 14 seconds left in the half. Flag on the play. Almost picked off. Ron Brooks had a beat on it.
Offside. Defense. Number 75.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty.
That's IK.
Replay. First down.
Now, IK, he got a great jump on this. It looked like he might have got it. He did get Ed right here at the bottom of your screen. He's going to jump off and be there too quickly. Oh, I don't know. That was simultaneous. He might have raised up, but I don't think he broke the plane. Nevertheless, he got some pressure on Derek Anderson. I think he was partly responsible for the bad throw.
1st and 5 from the 35. 10 seconds to go. complete and quickly out of bounds. Ed Dixon with the grab, the six-year player from Oregon.
And Derek Anderson, the veteran, doing a nice job, giving him a chance to get to this field goal now with 6 seconds left. They're going to try the field goal right here. That's a great job by Anderson, using the clock, taking the quick out, giving him a chance at a 47-yarder, 48-yarder here to end the half. This would be a 47-yarder.
First field goal attempt for Graham Gano. And he drills it. 4-point game, 1 second left. Coming up in just seconds, it's our Northtown Automotive halftime show, a tribute to the late, great Van Miller. Highlights and stats from this first half, and we'll hear from Rex Ryan on his thoughts on the first half. All that coming your way on the Northtown Automotive halftime show. 4 plays, 31 yards, 47-yard field goal. 14-10, Buffalo with the lead.
To hate these kind of situations. You don't know whether they're going to actually kick it deep or whatever, but also it's a kickoff that it's one last play that, you know, it's always a train wreck. So you have to get one more train wreck before you can go in to the locker room at halftime.
Bouncing ball, scooped up. Let's take a knee and everybody getting off that locker room healthy, right?
That saves you the train wreck.
So Buffalo on top, 14-10. Carlos Williams, Bryce Brown with the Bills touchdowns. Coming up, the Northtown Automotive halftime. And we'll have it after this local break. Buffalo on top, 14-10.
Must have been watching our broadcast during the first half, maybe.
Or somebody handed him the stat sheet, one of the two.
That could have been it too. Well, I love doing these home games, particularly in the preseason, because it gives me a chance once in the second half here, later on, maybe in the fourth quarter, we're going to get Jim Kelly, the Hall of Fame quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. He's going to come up and visit us in the booth. We'll chit-chat with him a little bit. It's always fun to have him here in the booth. We'll look for that later in this half.
Carolina will start the half with the ball. As yet another kickoff courtesy of Gay goes out of the end zone. Such a great special teams weapon to have.
It certainly does take a lot of pressure off. It's hard to go 80 yards on a drive and score a touchdown. It's very difficult to do. The statistics say it doesn't happen all that often. And to have your opponent's offense start like that every single drive is really an asset. Marv Levy was one of the first head coaches to ever keep a guy to do that, Brad Delwiso, and it ended up, that team he was on, we ended up going to the Super Bowl with a specialist as a kicker. 2 kickers, in fact.
Derek Anderson remains the Carolina quarterback. Cameron Artis-Payne, his tailback to his left. And Anderson going deep on the first play of the half, and has a man. And it's complete, pulled in by Funchess, the rookie, and Devin Funchess having a strong go early on. Ronald Darby, the man beat.
Yeah, and they put Funchess on right where Kelvin Benjamin left off. A big, tall receiver at the top of your screen. They're going right after the rookie. Darby did it in the first half, and they start the second half the same way. You see how tall Funchess is, and that's what these cornerbacks are up against.
Funchess 6'4", Darby 5'11", to pick up a 35 yards.
And Rex Ryan threw the challenge flag here on the near side. The Bills don't think Funchess was in bounds.
I know Ron Darby is hoping this one gets overturned.
Challenging the running on the field of a completed catch. We'll review the play.
While the coaches wait this one out, we'll step away, take a quick local break. It's 14-10 Buffalo here early in the third. Rob Stone, Steve Tasker back here with you. Referee out from the hood. Looks like a decision might have been made or forthcoming on that Funchess reception. We take another look at it.
Right, and I think this left foot is down right when he catches it. That second foot right there, which seems to be might be out of bounds, is irrelevant because
Buffalo will be charged if it's first time out of the half.
yeah, they're charging Buffalo with a timeout because they called it a catch. When Funchess came down, his left foot was on the ground. When he catches it there, his left foot is down. So that second foot coming down out of bounds is irrelevant.
Really nice grab by Funchess. He seems to be turning up the heat a little bit as they are testing the rookie Darby often as of late. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Yet to find a running game. They'll try it on this play. A little bit more productive than they've seen lately. Artis Payne, the rookie from Auburn, with the pickup. Jonathan Meeks there with the tackle for Buffalo.
That equaled their total in the first half of running yardage. That was a rough half for their running game. That first half with the #1 defense in there for Buffalo was absolutely non-existent.
Get used to it, NFL. Another give to Artis Payne. He goes to the right this time, and they'll mark it just beyond the first down marker.
And Ty Powell started to pursue, got picked up, couldn't get off his block in time to stop Payne from getting to the edge. Preston Brown actually ended up pursuing to get there, and well, actually Tony Stewart. But as Ty Powell came up to fill the hole, he got picked up by the guard. He could not get off that block to close that hole down.
Anderson going for it all. In and out of the hands. Funchess was there, and again, they're going after Darby.
Darby comes out on top, well defended as Funchess tries to get underneath Darby and come back for the football. There's no question, Derek Anderson threw this up for grabs. And he's just one of the guys. And that's, I'll tell you what, in the preseason, coaches will tell the guy at halftime, and I'm sure they had the conversation, said, listen, that 28, he's the rookie, he's not tall enough, our receivers are big, we're going to throw a few up for grabs in the second half, see if our young guys can make a play. There's no doubt that was the plan.
Darby right there, almost in the vicinity of an interception. Again, they're going after Darby. Remember, this is a guy, his time in Tallahassee, rarely was he targeted. He's so quick, so talented. He's maybe getting more balls thrown at him tonight than he's seen in the last 2 years in Tallahassee.
That's right, and on that one, that was well defended there. He's all over the tight end, Brockle. And that was, well, that's 2 plays in a row where Darby actually battled and won the day. We'll see, because they're not going to stop there.
Carolina just 1 of 4 on third down tonight.
Well, when you're 3rd and 10, the odds are not in your favor.
Play clock starting to wind down. They're not going to get it off in time.
Wave game, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
Yeah, you can chalk that up. A lot of people say, well, the offense is just discombobulated. What happens is, with a defense as multiple as the Buffalo Bills are, they'll shift and move, or they'll show something to a quarterback to get him to hesitate and then show him again. And if they get an offense where a quarterback likes to check into a perfect play, they'll keep shifting their front so that the quarterback keeps shifting, and they'll just run out of time, and all of a sudden they're not in the perfect play and they don't get the play off in time.
5th Carolina penalty. It's pushed them back 43 yards. Intercepted. No, I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. The man really cut him off. And Jared Boykin, the new man over from Green Bay, with the simple reception.
Yeah, that was a back shoulder throw, and it looked like he just peeled up a watch. Darby's been beaten twice. He knows they're going to need him. When he turns around, ball's already here, and that is an outstanding throw by Derek Anderson. That's a veteran throw to a receiver who's also a veteran. Even though those guys haven't worked together that much, that was perfectly executed against a young DB.
1st and 10 for Carolina. They go to the ground and don't get a whole lot there on 1st down. More from Cameron Artis-Payne. Led the SEC last year with over 1,600 yards, 3rd most in school history, and a team high 13 touchdowns last year as well.
Even with this defense of backup players in for the Buffalo Bills, still the running game is not very productive for Carolina. I think that's going to concern Ron Rivera after this game is over.
2nd and 9 for Derek Anderson. And a nice pickup. Maybe a little too easy. Jordan Todman, the 4th-year player from Connecticut. And the sticks move.
Yeah, and now Carolina, and I think this is one thing when you've got a veteran quarterback as a backup. And Derek Anderson's been a starter in the NFL. He's a 10-year veteran. Just the confidence of a guy like that taking snaps out there makes all the guys a little bit better, even though they're number 2s.
Another run from Todman. Pulled down at about the 6 from Mario Butler.
With a little acrobatic end to this run as Todman comes out. Good hit.
That was Tony Stewart first on the scene, the rookie from Clemson. Second and goal now for Carolina as they try and take their first lead of the evening.
You see the confidence with which Derek Anderson steps up, calls the protection, and then goes silent count.
Touchdown! Nope, out of bounds. Had it, too deep. Burson with the grab.
And that was also well executed. Derek Anderson really showing his live arm. He's directing this offense like the veteran that he is. Ron Rivera's got to like and feel confident about his backup quarterback situation. Look there, he was going to go quick and then just decides to give it a shot. Burson can't get in, obviously out of bounds. Once again, Ron Darby finding out it's not easy to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, they are finding where number 28 is and going after him often. 3rd and goal. Carolina's struggled on 3rd down here. And whistles before the snap.
Another delay of game.
2nd one this drive on Carolina.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Six penalties now on Carolina for 48 yards.
Almost identical to the Bills number. I think it's 6 for 45 for the Buffalo Bills in the first half. So both teams now almost identical in their penalty yardage.
Third and goal from the 12. Anderson waiting for a ruling. Touchdown, Carolina. Brenton Burson, the diving grab. Carolina on top.
Well, Burson comes across the back of the end zone. Anderson buys himself some time, keeps his eyes upfield. He's never going to run for a touchdown. And Nikel Roby losing track. It's not, no, that's actually Duke Williams. Derek Anderson close to being over the line, and man, that is close, and that might be worth the challenge as well. Except you can't, except they've used their challenge.
Casey, you good?
Oh, that's, oh yeah, you're right, that's an automatic review. Yeah, it's a score, yeah, they have to review it, and I think they may win this, and it may end up being 4th down for Carolina. I think he has to be completely over the line. We'll find out if he was when we come back.
Anderson just hooked up with that man, Brenton Burson, for a 12-yard touchdown that's now under review. Here's why, Steve.
Well, the 12-yard line is the line of scrimmage, and he's got to be completely over it to be considered over the line of scrimmage. Now watch, this makes it easier. Now that's not official, but it's pretty close. And to me, the ball's still in his hand at the top of his motion, and he's over the line by the looks of that. Now that blue line isn't official, but it certainly looks like he was over the line.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's a touchdown.
Yeah, I've learned not to try and predict.
Take that technology.
Yeah, I've learned never to try and predict because sometimes you just can't get it right.
So the Panthers take their first lead of the evening. And Gano puts Carolina up 3. "11 plays, 80 yards in 4:05. We encourage you to join us at the Ralph Saturday, August 29th. It's Kids Day, presented by Independent Health. Giveaways, interactive games, prizes, much, much more. Tickets, they start at $25. Visit BuffaloBills.com, or you can call 1-877-BBTICKS to reserve your seats today. Rex Ryan on the field, still having an extended conversation with the guys in black and white. As Gano and Carolina wait to, kick it away.
As I look down on the field on the sidelines of the Bills, E.J. Manuel seems to be getting ready to walk onto the field as quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. We'll see if he begins this second half. This will be the first series for the Bills. Nice drive to open the second half by Carolina, and Derek Anderson at quarterback ended up in the touchdown.
Deontay Thompson back deep for Buffalo on this one. Thompson's going to run it out from deep out of his end zone. And a good decision to the 25. And looking now for our quarterback confirmation. There it is. Well, so much has been talked about this young man in the offseason, the expectations as a high first-round pick, and talk to some people, they say this is really EJ's last chance to make it with this organization. He's got the body, he's got the brains, he's got the look. Really needs that accuracy, and the one word that you've been saying to me the last couple of days, edge.
Yeah, EJ is a great human being, great guy, and his teammates love him.
Bryce Brown with the big pickup, close to the 40.
It's important to EJ. He's put in a lot of work on getting himself better, but the one thing he's got to do is throw the ball more accurately, and I think be a stronger leader. He's got to light a fire under the guys around him. He's got to do something to get them to rally around him as well, and he could do that better with better play and better decision making, more accurate passing, but also he needs to expect more from the guys around him as well, and I think they'd respond to him if he did.
Bryce Brown with the pickup of 15. First and 10, play action. EJ, good protection. Diving grab, unable to be pulled in for Goodwin.
Tell it was a strong arm throw by E.J. Manuel as he takes over for Tyrod Taylor, who has got to feel pretty good about his performance tonight. Ran the ball well, threw it very well, 5 of 8 passing for 49 yards, but he also had 6 rushes for 47, and that's a lot of yards for a guy in just 2 series of downs. Tyrod Taylor throwing his name in the hat to be the starter on day 1.
Bobbled snap, EJ pulls it in and then is smothered.
Didn't look like a bad snap, although it had some velocity on it. Craig Urbick in at center for Eric Wood. You see there Twan Joe, the right tackle, trying to make a name for himself and get himself put into the starting rotation. Now in at right tackle.
Brings 3rd and 15. EJ wasn't prepared for that one, bobbled it, and then smothered it.
Well, that's not good. 2 snaps, 2 fumbled snaps, and well, that's why the team comes off on a 3rd down. I mean, it ended up, looked like they had some life. Good run by Bryce Brown, and EJ Manuel fumbled 2 snaps, one of which he was not prepared for, and it's hard to imagine things going worse.
Demir Bird back for Carolina. Towering punt inside the 20, and Bird pulls it in, and it's met immediately. Great special teams work by the Bills. 53-yard punt, 0. And that might be generous on the return. Kari Rambo, one of the men back there. Carolina on offense will return after this local timeout.
Back in Orchard Park, the Bills trail at 17-14. Defensive lineman Corbin Bryant won't return, injured his knee. He has left the game and will not come back. He was starting in place of Kyle Williams out with that quad injury. Kyle should be fine. He's playing tonight. Stephon Charles not playing either with an injury. Alex Carrington also sitting this one out, but Rex is happy with the depth he has, needs it tonight, because he says Carl Dunbar might be the best defensive line coach in the league. He's glad he has it.
Well, Mike, more on Charles and Williams. Coach did say to us yesterday, if this was the regular season, both of them would be okay to play. New quarterback in for Carolina, it's Joe Webb. They're really high on this youngster should they decide to keep 3 quarterbacks, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Big minute there from Randall Johnson, the young man from Florida Atlantic.
Last year's 7th round draft pick by the Buffalo Bills. Got good penetration, just knocked it down, showed good speed, good break off the ball. Webb gets this ball out quickly. It's a heads-up play. Seen a lot of guys get up there and the ball's gone. They're not even looking at the quarterback. Kept his eyes up and made the play.
Johnson, 1 tackle in 5 games played last season. Carolina show and run. Buffalo ready for it. Very little down the right side, if any at all.
One of the things that happened also in the first half, Jarris Wynn, the defensive end, 7th-year guy out of Georgia for the Buffalo Bills, he is out as well in the second half with a knee injury tonight. Jarris Wynn out with a knee injury.
3rd and 10 for Carolina now. Bills bring pressure. Webb steps up through it, and it's hit. Ball is loose. Recovered by Carolina.
Now Joe Webb looked like he had a little bit of room, but he ran out of it awful quickly. Play there made by Hamilton and M. Capali. Watch as Webb steps up, and that was a great job by Roby. Nikel Roby stripping the football on the sack. Great job by Nikel Roby.
Tobias Palmer back for Buffalo. He's at his 37. Chance for great field possession here from Buffalo. Short kick. It's tall. Won't even make it beyond the 40 as that one kicked back. A 31-yard punt from Nortman. Rivera not exactly thrilled by that one. And another opportunity now for EJ. Things did not go well on that opening drive for the Seminole. He gets another shot, and he's got a Seminole behind him, Carlos Williams, in the backfield. Arthur Miley, the Southern product, with the tackle.
That was a loss of 7. That one, Miley came right through the offensive line. Look at it, untouched. As good as the run game was in the first half for Buffalo, they're going backwards here in the second half.
Our 1st and 10 technology presented to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Little dump off, connects with Williams, and Williams using his feet inside the 35.
Well, somebody on the Carolina Panthers realized it was a screen pretty quickly, but they didn't react quickly enough. Williams did a nice job pulling that in, following his blockers. The Carolina Panther on the sideline down.
Pickup of 14. Bring 3rd and 6 for the Bills. Teddy Williams, who is shaken up, 4th-year player from Texas San Antonio. EJ back in the huddle. Across the middle, in and out of the hands. Marquise Gray unable to hold on to that one.
And there was nothing wrong with that play by E.J. Manuel. That went right through Gray's fingers. Manuel going through his progression just like he should have, put a little pepper on that pass, and that was a 1st down that was dropped.
And a long field goal attempt will come up now for Jordan Gay. It's going to be a 52-yarder. And we're tied at 17. Jordan Gay connecting from 52 yards out. 17-17 here in the 3rd. We're back after this network break. Gay with the 52-yard field goal to tie things up at 17. 5:58 left here in the 3rd. 4 plays, 4 yards, and a $1.09. Now Gay will kick it off. Jordan Todman, the deep man, Carolina. I want to remind you, legend Jim Kelly set to join us here in the 4th quarter. Todman will have a return from his own goal line. Flags fly in. He's taken down at the 24. We'll get more on the flag in a little bit, but first let's get downstairs. Mike Catalano with the guest, 10th-year defensive tackle Kyle Williams.
All right, Kyle, not playing tonight. For an update, how you feeling? When will you be back?
Feeling okay, you know, kind of going day to day, but I'll get there. Won't be out long. It's nothing serious. Much rather be playing, but, you know, a little rest won't hurt it.
Let's talk about this defense. You've been so successful previous years. What's different about Rex and Dennis Thurman's defense?
Some of the schematics that we're doing are going to be a little bit different. Some guys are going to be asked to fill in some different roles, which I think will give us multiple looks and give us opportunities to make a lot of plays, and I'm excited about it. Obviously, we have some talented guys to add it with a good scheme. I think it'll be really, really good for us.
We've talked about the depth on this defensive line, getting tested a little bit tonight with a few guys out. What's Carl Dunbar done with you guys? What's the defense going to be like on that defensive line?
I think the great thing that Dundee's done coming in is we've really kind of gone back to a lot of fundamentals. You know, really focusing on playing the run, defeating blocks, because I think you can see what we can do versus the passer. You know, we can all rush the passer, but we can't rush the passer unless we play the run well. And we want to play the run. We want to be the best against the run. And if we're the best against the run, I think we've got a good shot to be a really good defense.
And one last thing. Fans get to see Tyrod Taylor run around tonight. What's it like chasing that guy?
I'm glad that it's in practice, and I don't have to do it for long. But, you know, he's fun to watch. I thought, you know, Castle and him both did a great job when they came in tonight. It'll be fun to watch EJ the rest of the game.
All right, looking forward to seeing you back out there.
Yeah, thanks. Good to see you.
Kyle Williams, ready to get back. Nothing serious. He'll be back on the field soon.
All right, guys, thank you. A couple of Cameron Artis Payne plays there for Carolina, and that'll bring up 3rd and 1 from the 17.
Kyle Williams, one of those guys, you get him in the 5th round, and all of a sudden he turns into one of the best defensive tackles in the league. It's that kind of thing that keeps draft nicks interested in the draft, trying to find that guy that nobody else knows about. And the Bills definitely did it with a guy like Kyle Williams. What a player.
Upbeat guy who's a good interview. We love those type in our business. Webb shakes off the sack. He's not going to get away from this one, or is he? Just throws it away over his shoulder.
Wow, I don't know. That was... They're going to let it go. That was an intentional grounding, but there was a player over there within, 15 feet of where this goes. Look, he is not trying to complete that, and does a great job of putting enough on, although that is a risky play. I thought for sure that ball was going to get picked off. And now they did drop the flag. Look back in the backfield. They finally dropped a penalty flag, because there's no question. He's asking if somebody was close by.
Intentional grounding. Offense.
And I think
14. Although the quarterback was out of the pocket, the ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage, and there was not a receiver in the area. That's a loss of down at the spot of the foul. It's 4th down.
Well, that amounts to what they'd give him on the penalty is the sack. And you see there, the 3rd down, it's at the 17-yard line, and that ball lands at the 14, and there wasn't a player close enough to warrant being in the vicinity, which warranted a late flag after they all talked about it.
Palmer back for Buffalo. He's at his... He steps up now to the 45. Good looking punt out of the back of the end zone. Bobbled it. And forced to his left. Flags down. Not a pretty return.
Well, Carolina Panthers have got good special teams, and I should know the guy who's coaching them was Bruce DeHaven, the special teams coordinator for the Buffalo Bills during my tenure here in Buffalo for 11 and a half years.
Did you play special teams?
I did cover a kick now and again. And Bruce DeHaven, the special teams coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, along with his longtime friend and partner, Russ Purnell.
Illegal block in the back by the return team, number 39. The 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Buffalo's ball, 1st and 10.
Flag on Mario Butler.
There's our guy. Good friend of mine. Wish him the best.
17 all back in Buffalo. Panthers Bills in their preseason opener here in the 3rd quarter. 4:09 left. Jay Manuel remains at quarterback for Buffalo. I haven't seen a whole lot of productivity since he inserted himself into the lineup. He's the number 3 quarterback for today. Rex Ryan made it pretty clear to us, Steve, that don't read too much into the pecking order of today. It's going to work itself out. We'll know much more. You get the sense, at least after the 2nd preseason game. EJ, 1 of 3 for 10 yards in the air so far. Carlos Williams, the give. Productive pickup on 1st down. Reddick with the tackle. Time now for our Snapple Real Facts.
For those of you who didn't know this, Bill's 6th round draft pick, Nick O'Leary, is the grandson of golfer Jack Nicklaus. I get the feeling, too, when you bring that up, he's kind of getting to the point where he kind of rolls his eyes.
Like, enough. I know the Golden Bear is my grandpa. I have a Golden Bear story for you, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to hear it. I hope this game...
I might have oversold it a little bit. Another run there by Williams, close to the 1st down marker. So I called the Florida State game down there in Tallahassee. This is when O'Leary was tearing it up. One of the best tight ends in the college game, and certainly in Florida State history. And we were able to get Jack Nicklaus to come up into the booth to provide some commentary. And the Golden Bear, once you get up into those golden years, you're more than content to speak your mind. And the Golden Bear, not too flattering about some of the play calling he was seeing from Jimbo Fisher, essentially saying, I want a little more of my grandson to see that rock. And there was a little bit of fallout after.
Well, it's not just the age that gets you to speak your mind. 18 majors will do that as well. I guess. No, I'm with you, though. I'm a big Golden Bear fan.
So EJ gets the Bills to move the sticks here. Haven't seen a whole lot from O'Leary yet. Their 6th round pick.
That last series of events, 3 downs, 3 runs, 1 first down. That is textbook Rex Ryan ground and pound.
Here's some more pounding. Not a whole lot here on first. David Mayo, maybe the first man on the scene for the Panthers.
You talk about Nick O'Leary back at Florida State. There were signs that early in his career that he might have become a first-round draft pick in the National Football League. Now he had some injuries and some things that happened that he didn't get a lot of as many footballs that once looked like he was going to, but this is a guy that was very dependable for the Seminoles. You see their 114 career receptions. That's a lot.
Tight end school record for reception yards and touchdowns. EJ going deep, down the middle, has a man, touchdown, Buffalo. Thompson, put it on the board.
Well, you heard us criticize EJ Manuel for his accuracy. That ball was thrown into a Dixie cup from 45 yards out. I mean, he throws this right from the Bills' own 45-yard line, right down to the 5, right down the pipe. He threw that one right in the coin slot.
The young man needed a positive play. And he got a big one right there. (24-17) Buffalo. (51-yard strike).
Well, as you see this play develop, watch the bottom of your screen. This safety, instead of coming back, he takes a step forward, and this leaves no help down the post. Watch as this play develops. The safety hangs with the crossing tight end, turns his hips too late. And by that time, Thompson is behind the corner, wide open.
Thompson, the 4th-year player from Florida.
Being covered there by TJ Heath on the corner for Carolina. Heath expecting a little bit of safety help. It never came.
3rd lead of the evening for Buffalo.
Well, all 3 quarterbacks for Buffalo have some reason to feel a little bit better about their performance tonight as EJ Manuel kind of salvages what kind of was a rough start for him. Comes back and throws the deep touchdown. Had a nice drive going even before that as well. So we'll see if he continues to play in the second half. We'll see if he can continue that trend.
No return for Carolina. Do you keep him out there, or do you end his day on a good note?
Well, no, you have to see as much as you can. Let's throw him out there, let him dump, you want to see him. It was nice that he came out, had 2 fumbled snaps, botched. The first series couldn't have looked much worse for EJ Manuel. Then to come back and actually put together a drive after that and hit the long ball. Neither of the other 2 quarterbacks were able to do that. Yeah, I think you throw him back out there. The one thing you don't have enough of is game film of EJ Manuel, and they're going to get as much of that as they can, I think, tonight.
Manuel started the season at quarterback last year, then was replaced by the now retired Kyle Orton. Carolina, Webb hands it off. That's Artis Payne scooting outside to the right. Solid pickup on first down.
Yes, Swerton came up. Sweeting came up and put the exclamation point at the end of that run. That was a big hit by Sweeting as he came up to end that play after a 7-yard gain. Wow, that was a big hit.
Back to the ground, this time to the left side. See where they mark it, close to a first down. Justin Hamilton, defensive tackle, with the tackle.
You got a feel for these guys out here playing defense now for the Buffalo Bills. They're on a team that is neck deep in defensive talent. And there's not much room on this roster for more defensive players. But they're out here tonight to try and get those last precious few roster spots for the season. And, you know, they're fighting an uphill battle to try and find some space on a roster that is full of guys that can really play defense.
Timeout, Carolina. While we have this break, we remind you to stay connected with the Buffalo Bills, and you can do it 24/7 with the official Bills mobile app. Breaking news updates directly from the team. You can download it right now for free over at buffalobills.com.
You know, in a minute, we're going to talk to Jim Kelly. He's going to come up in the booth with us and shoot the breeze a little bit. And it reminds me of a roster that we were on years ago when you'd have these great draft picks come into the Buffalo organization and just find no room on a roster full of guys who are going to the Super Bowl every year. This defense on the Bills is a lot like that roster was. I mean, it's just difficult to find a spot in a role that hasn't been filled by a Pro Bowl player.
A lot of chatter out there. This may be the best defense in the league, maybe in league history.
Yeah, it's a little early for that, but certainly that's where they're shooting their sights. I mean, they want this to be a special season. They've got a coordinator that's well respected around the National Football League, and that's not just, you know, people in the AFC East. That's all over the National Football League. They take note of what the Jet defense was like under Rex Ryan and the schemes that he ran and the aggressive nature of it. Rex Ryan said during camp this thing, we're not trying to have these guys learn the playbook. We are writing the playbook defensively. And that's the one that people all across the league use.
Well, a guy who wrote the playbook offensively for the Buffalo Bills will join us next. The Hall of Famer, the legend, Jim Kelly, joins us after this network break.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Reed's Gents, the official jeweler of the Buffalo Bills, and by Subway. Eat fresh.
Well, this booth just got a few more rings added to it. The number 12 here in Buffalo. Jim Kelly joined us now. Great to have you here. Number one, you look fantastic. How are you feeling?
Not bad. I'd rather nobody see me right now. I got stitches in my left eye, got a black eye, but I just went through surgery 2 days ago, but I feel pretty good.
You look good. I don't even see the stitches, I'll be honest with you.
Well, good.
They did a good job. And thanks for joining us.
You're still the ugliest quarterback.
Easy down, boy. Down.
And you're not getting any of that from me.
This is going to be a fun fourth quarter. I can tell already. 2nd and 10 for Carolina. Quick little give. Jordan Todman with a pickup. What have you seen so far tonight from the first 3 quarters of the Rex Ryan Buffalo Bills?
I like it, and the best part about it, when Rex talked earlier when I heard an interview, he said, you know what, we're going to let it all hang on. We'll just be ourselves, no big game plan, but we'll see what we have. And so far, I like what I see so far.
3rd and 2. High snap, Webb pulls it in. Quick little hook up, Todman leveled and sent backwards. Bring on the punt unit.
As we're going to take a look at this replay right here, Jim, but I'm not going to ask you, you're the guy. Talk about the 3 quarterbacks. Matt Castle came in, missed 1 throw all night. Tyron Taylor came in, moved him down for 2 touchdowns. And EJ, after a rough start, came in, got a drive, and hit the long ball, put it right where it needed to be. I mean, what are you thinking about these 3 guys?
They're making it even harder for Rex to make a decision. I mean, Matt came in, he took what they gave him, he did a good job. EJ's problem earlier was his deep ball. And as we saw, perfect strike to get him in there. And Tyrod, I mean, he's got it all.
Yeah, Tyrod was electric when he was in the game.
Palmer back at his 18. Great elevation on this punt. He calls for a fair catch and pulls it in about the 14. 47-yard punt, no return. Plenty more with Jim Kelly after we take this local break. 24-17 Buffalo. Stone Steve Tasker, Jim Kelly back here with you. We take a look at our stats through 3 quarters.
Yeah, the thing
presented by Western New York Chevy Dealer.
No, sorry about that, Rob. This is the thing that stands out, 42 yards rushing, and of course the time of possession. Everything else is pretty much even across the board. The Carolina Panthers actually have gotten those back in balance a little bit with the nice drive that Derek Anderson put together with the offense, but the Buffalo Bills really dominated in the first half. and have kind of held on here in the second, and then the big play by E.J. Manuel gave them back the lead.
That big play, a 51-yard strike to Deontay Thompson on their last offensive possession. This one's called before the snap.
Offense, number 61.
But Jim, you've seen EJ the last couple years right now, and you know, the expectations of being a first-round pick so high. What have you seen from his game since he first got drafted out of Tallahassee?
Not a lot, just to be honest with you. I mean, EJ, what I did see out of his leadership and everything he stands for, being in the locker room, talking to players, but you got to be able to do it on the field. So far, he hasn't done that bad of a job. We shall see. I mean, it's early, first preseason game, but as you know, Steve, I think I've talked to Steve about this before, but coming into this, a new system, Greg Roman offense, no quarterback has a step up on the other. It's whoever wants the job, whoever plays best, it's their job. It's not one guy being in the system for 2 or 3 years.
Right, and the one thing that EJ has working against him is Matt Castle has been through this a number of times. He was with New England, new offense, with Kansas City, new offense, with Minnesota, new offense. So he's been through this. This is the first new offense EJ's had to adjust to in the NFL.
Bryce Brown having a nice evening as well. Big pickup there. TJ Heath with the tackle.
Yeah, Bryce Brown, a running back who the Bills were very high on even a year ago, came over in the trade from Philadelphia. Now the Bills have 2 traded running backs from Philadelphia. Bryce Brown. The problem with Brown is you see him run there, a nice run. Once in a while he coughs it up. And that's one of the reasons why Carlos Williams was ahead of him tonight in the starting rotation. Carlos Williams went there after Shady McCoy went out because he has not been fumbling it.
Pickup of 7, 1st and 10. Another give. Maybe a yard there for Brown.
Yeah, Jim, you come in, we were talking about this at the top of the show. It's just getting started the preseason. I know it couldn't be any earlier than it is now, but this is a team that has some momentum going into this season. They have a nice season a year ago to build on, a 9-7 record. But a defense and a running game really give you a good foundation for putting together a nice season, no matter who's playing quarterback.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, that's one of the things Rex talked about. And you see how many yards we have right now. I think from what I saw there, about 47, something like that. That's pretty good for an offensive team, especially when Rex says, we're going to run the football, and that's what they've been able to do tonight.
Yeah, they weren't catching anybody off by surprise by coming in and running the football. Everybody knew it. And that last play, E.J. Manuel trying to hit Nick O'Leary, that looked like a pretty darn good pass. It bounced right up into the air off O'Leary.
For a quarterback, that drives you crazy when you get a guy running, you hit him in stride, and he drops it.
That's interesting because nobody ever asked what drives a wide receiver crazy. I don't know why that is.
I could probably give you a few examples, but maybe not. You throw. That's what you want to see out of EJ. You want to see the timing. I mean, he had the inside, looked the inside, then he went to the outside. Even though it was a little longer, we needed about 3 more yards. But you got to know as a receiver when you stop, you got to stop knowing where the first down marker is.
Comes out late. There you see also, you see why he's so intriguing. The ball gets there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some zip. He's got a big arm. That was to the wide side of the field late on an out route to a tight end, and he put it on the money. When he's accurate with the ball, it gets there when it's supposed to get there. The question is, can he get it to not just to the right guy, but accurately enough for the guy to make a catch and run?
And consistently.
Right.
Demir Bird from his 22. Able to get wide right, get a couple of yards on that return across the 30. 44-yard punt, 11-yard return. We'll talk more EJ and the Buffalo quarterback position after this local break. Bills on top, 24-17. Bills up 7 here in the 4th quarter. Rob Stone, a couple Bills legends, Jim Kelly, Steve Tasker here with you. You live year-round here, Jim, and new Bills ownership. What have you noticed from them in the community since the Pagulas took over?
Excitement. I mean, from the start. I mean, it didn't take a week or 2. It took that day when the Pagulas came in because everybody was really worried that the team was going somewhere else. And we knew that the Buffalo Sabres ownership is now going to be the Bills ownership. Everything made it so much brighter for everybody here.
Webb. Incomplete.
talk about how they were received when they first walked down the tunnel and in the first press conference here. Pegula Terry kind of broke up. He kind of got choked up. And then they get the chance to walk out on the field for the first time as a family. That's one thing I noticed. And you feel like they're a real family. I mean, it's not, there's no, this isn't the Kardashians here. I mean, they're parents. I mean, they're disciplining those kids. The kids are great.
Oh, yeah, one, as a matter of fact, works as an intern with my daughter, Erin, here.
Right,
so, yeah, they're all about that. They're all about loyalty. They're all about family. And they brought it all right here to Buffalo, which is what this community needed. This is what the community wanted, and they got it.
Well, they really do strike a chord with the Buffalo fan base. They seem to be part of the community. They love the town, just like the people who live here, and like you and me. Yep. I mean, you love the city, you love the region, you love the people, and it's a unique vibe that, and much like Rex Ryan has embraced this town.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 46, 5 yards from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Much like Rex Ryan has embraced Western New York. Wow. The fans here feel like the Pegulas have embraced the city as well, and that has been an enormous drink of water after maybe what was a long dry spell.
Boy, it has, and the thing is, you look at the Pegulas when they came in, what they did, and bringing Rex Ryan in, they woke this city up, and they needed to wake up.
They've been a constant presence as well at preseason camp over in Rochester as well. Look, I don't live here. Well, I've been here a couple of days. Well, I went to school up here, but and even I can feel it. You know, I mean, I know you guys have sold a lot of merchandise in the past. Just driving through the communities, being in Rochester, being here in Buffalo, being at Niagara Falls yesterday, you do feel it. You see it. You sense it, that this is a franchise very much back up on the rise.
Well, it's interesting because you say back up on the rise. When it was, we had a chance to kind of commemorate what has happened in the past and why some of these people here, particularly the older fans, have so much to be proud of. We went to Canton this last weekend and saw Bill Polian be inducted, and really, you know, as long as he was in Indianapolis, it was kind of a Bills
reunion. Close.
Don't get me wrong, there was some great Indianapolis. Peyton was there, Jeff Sadler was there. There was a lot of great
I'm talking about fan support.
But yeah,
you know that, Steve. Buffalo. There's nothing like our fans, except the Steelers were pretty good.
Oh yeah, and they always are, and God bless them, they're great. The Steeler fans travel like no other, but I know that people in Canton love it when a Buffalo person or a Steeler person or a Cleveland guy, one of those three cities, when somebody from those organizations goes in the Hall of Fame, there's a predominance of jerseys that you can tell who's going in.
3rd and 8. Let's see what the Dennis Thurman defense dials up here. Jumped offside.
Give me a little sense here as we saw this penalty. Give me a sense of you. I mean, I talked to Bill as well, Bill Polian. Tell me about your conversations with Bill, his family, and how it all went down for him. I know you have your own. Tell me about Bill's.
Well, you know, I've never seen a bigger smile on a man's face in my life, but not just his. Dennis and Chris and Brian, all the Polian kids were there, of course. But just to see the excitement, because I know that was one thing. Bill Polian, not being a professional football player, never in a million years ever thought that he would get there. But the thing is, Steve, as you well know, being a Buffalo Bill, Bill Polian was more than the executive year. Yes, 6-time executive of the year, but his door was open to every single one of us. And I know it's a little cliche, but the bottom line is, you know as well as I do, no matter what the situation was, Bill Polian was there for every single one of us.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too. You say Chris, Brian, Dennis. Those are guys, his sons, who are now prominent members of the football community. They were our ball boys when they were kids. Yes. I mean, that's how long ago it was. And
look at that smile.
And there's Marv, his good friend and co-worker, his colleague, Marv Levy, was his presenter, and what a guy. I mean, that's I owe my career here in Buffalo to that guy. Luckily, I won the lottery. I was the first new player he hired when he hired Marv Levy, and I'm still cashing that lottery ticket.
And if I could say this real quick, the first time I really got into conversation with Bill Polian is when we were negotiating our contract with the Houston, when I was coming from the Houston Gamblers into the NFL, not sure where I wanted to be. And Bill Polian got down in a 3-point stance against my agents. I had to come out and break him up because he was ready to take all of them on.
Agents and general manager are all like, they're all wannabe players. That's right.
But you know, Bill, that steamed Yar's temper.
Well, that's the thing. Bill would actually fight for something he believed in for the organ. He would literally come to fisticuffs. And in the current atmosphere in the league, you don't really want to bring that up. But Bill was willing to fight for what he believed was rightfully the team's. And there's a lot of people who have stories about Bill Polian's temper.
Palmer fields that one at the 22, met at the 25. Once again, yellow flags littering the field. 49-yard punt, 4-yard return. Let's hear the call. As expected in the later stages of the first preseason game of the year for these two clubs. A lot of yellow stuff on the field lately.
Yeah, special teams. Oh, sorry, Steve.
No.
Too easy.
You don't have to.
Too easy,
Yeah,
Jim.
you're cherry picking now.
Oh, boy.
Low-hanging fruit.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, number 80 of the return team, half the distance from the end of the run, first down.
So that'll push the Bills inside their 15. 24-17 as we're getting deep into the fourth quarter. Rob Stone, Jim Kelly, Steve Tasker, Mike Catalana back here with you. Woods and the Bills holding on to a 7-point advantage. I know, Jim, you didn't have a whole lot of fourth quarter preseason time in your NFL career, but
how about none?
Yeah, but knowing what you know from the coaching staff, what are they looking for from the quarterback at this point?
Well, consistency, and you want to make sure you don't make that crucial mistake, especially when it's all three of them are fighting for that one job and being the starter, especially EJ being in his third year with the Bills.
Bronson Hill with the carry, young man just picked up a couple days ago. Rookie from Eastern Michigan, an undrafted rookie, big body, 5'10", 215. Again, no Fred Jackson, no Boobie Dixon due to injury. Our first and 10 technology presented by Toyota. Let's go places. A lot of energy and enthusiasm here in Buffalo. And a lot of that courtesy of the hiring of Rex Ryan. Talk a little bit about Rex and what he's done here in Buffalo. And my sense, Jim Kelly, is he's done things that Marv Levy probably wouldn't do.
Yeah, go to the big tree and have a beer to start with.
Day one.
Yeah, day one. But, he's electrified this community. I mean, not only from getting the fans excited, because as most people do know, we have not been to the playoffs in a while. We have not had a January game. But he's got the players believing in. They got a special team here. Now it's a matter of putting it all together.
Yeah, it's one of the things about him that you get to talk to him even on an interpersonal level.
Yes.
It's real to him. That's the kind of guy he is. He grew up with his dad, Buddy Ryan. As you see EJ run there for the first down, you see he grew up with his dad, Buddy Ryan, in those 85 Bear teams in the Arizona. He was a part of NFL locker. He knows what it is. He's seen good teammates. And as a head coach, that's what he does. He includes everybody into the team. His fans, the administration, the coaches, everybody's on the same page. It's one of the things that made the team in the early 90s very special. Everybody in the building was pulling the same direction. And I think that's one of the things he has brought. It's real to him. It's not something that he makes up. It's not some sort of
it's him.
It's not some sort of concocted game plan that he has. That's who he is, and it's easy for people to jump on board with him.
Speaking of jump, not only jumping on board, jumping out of planes.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, yeah.
No, thank you. I mean, he's crazy to begin with. But when you do stuff like that, would you ever done this, Chevy?
No. I had an opportunity to do it, and I actually turned it down.
That's a guy, though, to me at least, who gets the PR world that we live in right now. It's certainly something that he enjoys and dialed up, and that brings positive attention to this franchise.
And I'll give you another thing. When he was in New York as a Jet head coach, they laughed at that kind of stuff and scoffed at it. Here in Buffalo, they eat it up. They love it. The fan base loves it. The city loves it. The team loves it. And it's been a huge positive rather than a distraction.
Speaking of eating it up, he's dropping milk bones at press conferences as well. I mean, there's nothing you can't put in front of this guy. And then he's strutting around town, and he's not hiding who he is and who he represents. That, my friends, that's a truck.
Are you talking? Yeah, I was just going to say, are you talking about that truck? Now,
you see it everywhere.
There's no way. Well, hold on a second. You got Rex Ryan. Have you seen Steve Tasker's trucks?
Uh-oh.
His are everywhere. I rode by her today. It was a big van with Steve Tapper on the sideline.
It's a nice escapability from EJ here. And
come on.
Has a wide open man.
That's a big
really
miss right
underthrew
there. That is a total miss by EJ. He got outside. Nick O'Leary got himself free. Had two players running wide open, and that's the frustrating thing for EJ Manuel. Great job, avoids the pressure, extends this play. Look, O'Leary right down the sideline. All he has to do is put it out there, and it's 10 yards short of where he should have thrown that football.
Square your hips up. Come on, you've learned this. I mean, you were taught this back in high school. Square your hips up, throw it. Oh, he definitely missed that one.
Colton Schmidt back to punt. No return as this one bounces.
Hit him. I think it hit.
Out of bounds. That's what the Buffalo staff, you hear them even up here saying, may
touched one of the Carolina covered people.
Right now it's a 41-yard punt. But nobody recovered it in time. Bills on top by 7. Jim Kelly continues our conversation. We return after this local break. Back in Buffalo, time now for our McDonald's sack of the game. The only sack of the game. Ron Brooks, the fourth-year player from LSU.
Came in the sack strip, made the turnover, what looked like it was going to be a turnover. Look, as he runs past Webb, comes back, stays with it, and has the presence of mind to strip that football and get the ball back inside the 10-yard line. That's the sack of the game, Ron Brooks. For a team that got over 50 sacks a year ago, that's the only one they had tonight.
Yeah, 54 sacks last season to lead the NFL. Webb remains under center for Carolina. Hand off to Brandon Weger.
I got to ask you, big man, so when we were playing them, you had some weapons there. What about this Bills offense? As we see the Carolina Panthers take the field with their offensive weapons, we haven't seen weapons on this side of the offensive side of the Bills team like they have this year for a long, long time.
And Andre Reed is almost, I guess you could say he's an intern at wide receiver coach for the Bills. He told me before tonight's game that it's going to be interesting to see who they get rid of, because he feels that the ones that are on depth chart 5th, 6th, and 7th have a good opportunity, not only making another team, but playing for another team. So we got all kinds of weapons, not only in the receiver core, but in the backfield. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out.
Yeah, there is. You go down the list of wide receivers on the team, and you get down to guys, well, like Chris Hogan, who made such a splash last year in his second year with the team. You know, you look like, wow, that's a guy that's not going to see as much time this year. Is he going to make the team? Who are they going to keep? Because they've got so many weapons. You put Percy Harvin, Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, Marquise Goodwin. That's 5 guys right there. And how many are you going to keep?
I don't know, but let's do a little bit more 4 wide receivers.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do 4 wide receivers, Charles Clay comes off. Right? I mean, how are you going to take him off the field?
You don't. And I love this style that we used to run with the 3 wide receivers. We had Pete Metzler, we had Keith McKellar, of course, number 34 in the backfield. Now you got LaShawn. You got so many weapons. Now we just need that quarterback to be consistent. Don't think you have to win every single game, but win maybe 2 or 3 during the course of the season.
Carolina to the ground after a couple big pickups. That one short. From the quarterbacks you've seen, and again, it's a very small menu that you've seen tonight, at least. Has anybody risen above the other in your eyes in that depth chart battle?
No, not really. If EJ would have made that throw, that would have helped his confidence, there's no doubt. One thing I saw out of Matt is consistency. He does some good throws. And of course, the Tyrod Taylor, one of the good things with him was his ability to get outside the pocket. When things break down, he was able to make that big run, especially the one that we saw when he was able to avoid the tackle and get the first down. So it's good to see that. That's one guy you feel you might want to have on the field, maybe not all the time. I mean, you look at the stats right there, the passing yards about the same, but the rushing, Tyrod gives you that element, almost like a Russell Wilson type of player. But we need consistency out of any of the 3.
Yeah, and the thing about Tyrod Taylor you talk about, it's always intriguing and it's always alluring when you have a quarterback who can make something out of nothing. And he did that a couple of times tonight and kept the drive alive just with his feet and his poise and his ability to stay away from pressure.
There's no doubt. And Steve, I mean, he's not a real tall guy to stay in that pocket. I remember the one long pass, I think he just pretty much knew it was 1-on-1 on the outside. He threw it up. The one was right in the guy's hand. You got to make those catches. He had some good throws there. That was one of the things I think talking to Andre and really the couple practice I was at, that's one I think Tyrod was a little better on the deep throw than the other two. But again, this is where they have to do it. They have to do it in the preseason.
Let me ask you guys, and I'll start with you. You're our quarterback expert. What is the pecking order in your eyes right now? Is it the way the three quarterbacks played themselves out today?
I think it stays exactly the way it is.
Okay.
Matt, right now it's Matt and Tyrod battling for that starting position. EJ in the back, but again, EJ is with the second and third stringers. Matt was with the starters, so we'll find out if the other guys get that opportunity to show what they can do with the guys that mean they can play the game and start.
Merrill Noel, the rookie from Wake Forest, there to break up that play. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think at the end of tonight, it's a small sample size, like you said. So every play, one missed play speaks volumes, and you kind of tend to attach too much importance to it. But I think it's Tyrod Taylor, Matt Castle together, or Matt Castle, Tyrod Taylor, whichever order you want to put them in.
You think
and
that's
EJ.
pretty tight? That's a 1A, 1B.
I think a lot like it was in the OTAs. I think Tyrod Taylor surprised a lot of people.
Carolina's going to go for it here on 4th and 2, 4:01 left in the fourth. Webb broke it up, and no flag.
I didn't know whether I was supposed to act like you go crazy, but I was
No, you can do it. I saw you clapping. You're all right. You're a Hall of Famer. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Mario Butler out of Georgia Tech at free agent second year plays this perfectly. He comes up, sets on the route, squats on it, comes up and gets his hand in. Nice physical play right when the ball gets there. Attacks it, slaps the ball out of the hand.
And now Matt Sims comes on as the fourth quarterback tonight. So he'll have just under 4 minutes to show the staff what he can do.
Well, it's interesting. I was watching him, and he had almost a full workout pregame because he didn't think he was going to play very much. So being a good quarterback, he came out and got some work in.
Sims, the second-year player from Tennessee, hands it off. Bronson Hill rumbles down the left side. Sims, most people feel, probably destined to the practice squad, but that's what preseason is there for.
But listen, he's got some physical ability. I was watching him. He's got a live arm. He works really hard at it. It's important to him, a lot like it is with EJ Manuel. I think what he's missing is a chance to show what he can do and a chance to be developed by taking reps.
And unfortunately, he's in a situation right now where they're looking for the starter, and you're not looking that far back on the depth chart. But it's an opportunity for him to show what he can do for other teams. Maybe talked about the practice squad. You don't know, but every snap you get as an NFL player, especially when you're on a 1 or 2, is very important for your future.
Yeah, not just
the first down.
Not just because of what it can do for the team you're on, but they film everything. They film absolutely every practice, every rep, every drill. They film everything, and coaches around the league look at that stuff, and they've got, plus the coaches on the Buffalo Bills, last year they were on the Jets, year before that, they know everybody. It's a small, small world in the NFL. Word gets around if you've got a guy that can play.
And again, Sims claimed off waivers from the Jets, so another guy that Rex Ryan familiar with. He's been pretty good at handing the ball off since coming on.
Well, he has a pretty good coach in his dad. And one of those guys that I always talked about when they said, is there a quarterback out there that maybe has a chance at the Pro Football Hall of Fame that's not in? And I know they throw a lot of names at me, and Phil Simms is one of those guys I always talk about. He was consistent. He was a good player. Wasn't great. Didn't do much talking, but I always loved his play.
He talks a lot now in the booth.
Yes, he sure does.
Now, but I'll tell you what, you're right. I like Phil as he's a friend of mine too, and yeah, you can make a case for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Another handoff. And another run by Hill.
This might take us to the 2-minute warning here, but you're right. Sims is in an uphill battle here because of the situation. You got not just like 2 guys ahead of you, it's like 3 guys they're trying to decide on, and he's just kind of watching the train wreck. waiting for to be the last guy standing, basically.
He's a young man who's been impressive over in Rochester as well, but who knows what his future is. 2 minutes left. Network break coming up. We welcome you back here in Buffalo. Bills up 7, 2 minutes left. New quarterback Matt Sims facing a 3rd and 10 from the 49. Good time to stay up late for a good reason.
Summertime.
What do you do here, Steve? 2 minutes to go in the game. Do you see what Sims has?
Oh, yeah.
Drop him back. Why not take
Absolutely.
a chance, get that first down? It's preseason.
You
Why
try
not?
and stay on the field and win the game.
That's
you gotta
right.
Now's maybe the only time you try to win the game. I mean, this is give these guys a chance to compete.
Buffalo 6 of 13 on 3rd down. Instead, it'll be another run.
I didn't want to see that.
Maybe a pickup of 1.
Now Carolina takes a quick timeout to save the 4 seconds, or save the seconds. That's just 4-second play. Come in a minute 56, they'll have a 1st and 10 after the punt. The Bills will do their best to get them deep.
Well, the good thing about this is they need a touchdown and not a field goal. So our defense has been playing pretty consistent. You don't want to take a chance of turnover there. So I guess I can see that to a certain point, but I still want to see them strong.
Hello? I think we're on. Yeah. I lost your mic for a minute. Well, Jim was talking there. His mic came unplugged. We're going to keep going here as this 4th down punt comes along.
Brenton Burson back to receive this one. Burson with the 3rd quarter 12-yard touchdown grab. He's going to wave off any shot of return here, so a nice punt. Dropped inside the 10, 39-yard strike there. Join us at the Ralph Saturday, August 29th. It's Kids Day, presented by Independent Health. Giveaways, interactive games, prizes, much more. Tickets, they begin at $25. You can visit buffalobills.com or call 1-877-BBTICKS to reserve your seats today. Some kids ahead of Kids Night. Nothing like the summer and blowing off those bedtimes.
He's not working. Jim's mic's out.
I'm yelling into your side.
Let me just give you my headset. I can go home.
Complete over the middle, 1st down, and a big gain there for the Panthers across the 35. 28-yard pickup.
Carolina, this is the kind of thing they're working on in training camp. This is both coaching staffs are probably happy this is happening with a 2-minute drill.
Webb to Marcus Lucas on that play. Goes to Lucas again.
Carolina with 0 timeouts. So I guess I got to thanks for coming in to see us, man. It was great seeing you. And yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for the Pittsburgh game as well.
Pleasure to meet you. Glad to hear your health is doing better. You look great. You do look fantastic.
Fair to Midland, but you look, yeah.
Come on. Come on, Tasker. Let it go.
I'm not going to let it go. I owe him. I took a lot of abuse for him over there. I love you, man. I'm glad you were here. Thanks for coming by.
Webb from the shotgun. Steps up. He's going to run it. Crosses midfield. Scampers out of bounds. 1:11 left in this one.
And I was just saying before Jim left us that this is exactly the kind of thing both coaching staffs love to see. When the game is on the line, 2 minutes to go, you got to do certain things. Carolina's got to get out of bounds. They've got no timeouts. They got to spike the ball. They got to work the clock. And the Bills have got to get communicated exactly the right defensive front and coordinate the front with the coverage. They've got to do all the right things. So this is really a critical time, one that's really good for coaches' evaluations.
Communication, one of the keys, Rex Ryan said to us yesterday, particularly with the fact that they haven't done a lot of film work on Carolina, maybe 10, 15 minutes. So he wants this defense to adjust to what's been thrown their way. Another short completion there.
And that's one of the things about this Rex Ryan defense. They're not afraid. They're bringing pressure. I know it's the first preseason game and everything's kind of vanilla, but that's one of the things it's predicated on. They came with extra rushers on that play. They forced Joe Webb to get rid of the football and force him to make good throws. And thus far on this drive, he's done an excellent job.
2nd and 5, 66 seconds left. Webb from the shotgun. 4-man front for the Bills. Pressure from the backside, dumps it, spins away, and he's got some room, does Weger. And Weger takes it the distance. Yeah. 42-yard touchdown.
And that's what can happen when you got a quarterback who keeps his eyes down the football field. The defense over pursues to the right side and leaves the entire left side of the football field uncovered all the way down. A clutch play by Joe Webb and the Carolina Panther offense.
And they're going to go for 2. Rivera barking the instructions.
Now it's going to be a 2-point play. This means it will not go on the 15-yard line. It goes all the way down to the 2-yard line. And if the Bills pick this up, and they can go the other way for 2 points, but Carolina gets the opportunity to win the football game right here. And this is a total preseason decision by the Carolina Panthers. You don't do this in regular season. You give your offense a chance to come back out on the field either in overtime to win it.
Webb has a man, complete. Paul Browning with the 2-point conversion. Carolina takes the lead.
On the outside, where they've been working on the corners all night with the fades. This time they hit the hard slant. Working against Rod Sweeting on the outside at the top of the. He's just going to come hard slant right down inside. Sweeting's got to either cut him off and take the chance that he doesn't break it to the outside on the fade. Well executed 2-minute drive by Joe Webb of the Carolina Panthers.
2-minute drive. Try a 54-second drive.
That's right.
That was just too easy. 5 plays, 91 yards in 54 seconds. That's going to leave a bad taste in Rex Ryan's mouth. And again, it's not about the results here in the preseason.
No, but it is about
ball off.
It is about making plays, and and guys are out there trying to compete. And when you get into a situation like this, more so than any other part of the game, this is about one-on-one battles, and you want to have enough guys on your team that can win one-on-one, because sometimes that's the only option you have. And in this situation, Carolina Panthers did a great job. They got out of bounds. They conserved clock time. As you said, it only took them 54 seconds. And it ends up in a touchdown on a long play.
Well, now we get to see the minute offense for Buffalo. A field goal will win it for them. Deontay Thompson is not going to run this one out. So Matt Sims trots out. See what he can do here. And remember, Jordan Gay already dropped one from 52 yards.
Right, so they're from the 20. They've got 60 yards to go to get to the 40-yard line of Carolina. Now that actually is a 30-yard, 35-yard line is usually the thing. So they got 65 yards to go, 54 seconds to get there.
Do have 2 timeouts to work with. Sims steps through the pressure, avoids a tackler, big pickup, and gets out of bounds, crosses the 40-yard line.
Now they have 45 yards.
Pickup of 21 from Sims.
And that was an excellent job by Sims, climbing in the pocket, stepping out of the pursuit, and then just breaking to the sideline, and that's the kind of play you got to make. They were rushing 4 guys, dropping 7. They were dropping deep, thinking the Bills had to go very deep to make a play. Sims took advantage of the man-to-man coverage. Nobody was looking at him, and he got the big gain.
Desmond Lewis, the rookie, out of Central Arkansas, really in the battle to make this team, and he's unable to hold on to that one.
Yeah, and drop passes have been a curse tonight. There's never a good time for them, but it seems as though the Bills, and here in the crucial moment, also on a couple of third downs, it really cost them. And it was, it was young players who did it. Actually, most of them were very young players.
2nd and 10 from the 40. Sims over the middle, has a man. Pick up Andre Davis, and they are real close now to field goal territory.
Now they'll spike the football if they can get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. The Bills have 2 timeouts. They could use one right here. Now there's a flag as well. Oh, that's a bad penalty. Illegal hands to the face.
There's been a couple calls tonight.
They called it on.
Hasn't been happy with.
Yeah, they called it on number 74, the Buffalo Bills.
Taron Jones, second-year player, tackle, Alabama State.
Right here.
Jones on the right. Yep.
Illegal hands to the face. Yeah, well, with that angle, it's hard to see.
So now 2nd and 20 from the 30. Sims under pressure, and he goes down. And Rex Ryan calls a timeout. And he's going to spend this timeout talking to the officials. Sims comes over for some guidance. A lot of positives tonight, certainly for Rex Ryan and his first game in charge for the Bills.
Yeah, and you look at one of the things that stand out, and there's always positives and negatives. There's a lot of positives to be very happy about, and really the negatives were maybe perhaps individual mistakes. Well, like we just saw with the penalty and the drop passes we mentioned, kind of individual things that happened. It never seemed as though anybody on the field was outmatched for the Bills. Even the number 3 guys seemed to have enough wherewithal to compete at a high level.
Tripped up the 35. There is a flag behind the play. Now the body language from Matt tells you this one's coming back.
Holding. Offense. Number 79. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
And Tyson Chandler, the rookie out of NC State. And it's...
Remember, just a few seconds ago, they were about 5-7 yards away from field goal range.
Yeah, 2
and now
penalties.
Here they are back to about their 15.
Yeah, the 2 penalties have cost them the opportunity to win the game. And I didn't see a hold there. Wow, I did not see that hold. There's always a chance they called the wrong number though, and we were looking in the wrong spot, but
Sims hit as he delivers. 4th and 35. Got to go deep in the playbook for this one.
Yeah, there's not too many on the playlist for that situation.
It was a first half clearly won by the Buffalo Bills. They were up 14-10. The stats almost gaudy in favor of Buffalo. Time of possession, rushing yards. The defense was on their game, and then it goes to the depth in the second half. And this is something that Rex Ryan and these Bills need, more depth.
That's what the preseason is all about, and this is a team that has said it openly. They're all about finding out who can help them win football games on the bottom of their roster. This is a roster that knows very well its first top 35 guys. This is about the others.
Sims with another flag. This one tipped up and intercepted.
And that's the game as the clock runs out. The Carolina Panthers are going to walk out with a 1-point lead. Unless there is a flag on the play, and unless it's a defensive flag, they'll get one time down, and that looks like it's going to be because nobody's moving on either sideline.
There is no foul on the play for pass interference. The ball was in the air to another receiver. The game is over.
Game is over.
And that's how it ends. So Rex Ryan heads over to meet his counterpart, Ron Rivera. Carolina, a second half rally. And they take it 25-24. Castle and Cam Newton. And Buffalo making their way off the field. Yeah, some old friends getting together, one of the perks of the offseason. Castle did very well. Shady McCoy strong in just a few series. We'll be back to wrap things up from Buffalo. 25-24, your final.